Victims were shot to death. That one by one, the victims were shot to death. Their families were all in the courtroom. This is 21-year-old victim Matthew Wilson's parents.
Matthew was a good father.
He was a good boy.
He was a good brother. He was a damn good son.
And they loved their baby.
Absolutely.
They loved their baby. The whole family loved each other.
The judge entered a not guilty plea on Drummond's behalf and appointed him an attorney. The state indicated it will seek the death penalty. Market numbers brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com.
Wall Street now. A mixed close Thursday on Wall Street. The Dow was down 228 points. The S&P lost 6. The Nasdaq gained 73 points. Investors are still gauging the effect of the worldwide tariffs that went into effect Thursday. They're part of President Trump's strategy to reduce the trade deficit and encourage more foreign investment in the U.S. The import taxes are paid for by importers, but economists say they're eventually passed on to consumers, and that raises inflation fears. The average rate on a 30-year mortgage has fallen to its lowest level since April. It dropped to 6.63%. President Trump's new tax law will not change the IRS's withholding for taxpayers this year. The IRS says that will not be reflected in the 2026 tax year. And OpenAI launched its newest version of ChatGPT-5, calling it the fastest, smartest, and most reliable model yet. Brian Clark, ABC News.
And stock futures this morning all pointing up. The Dow futures are plus 80. We've got NASDAQ futures gaining 70. S&P futures, they're up 17 points. That's the latest news. Stick around for traffic and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. Well, we've got a problem this morning in Thompson Station on 65, the northbound side past the Thompson Station Road overpass. We've got a truck there, a truck fire from last night still being worked on. The right lane is blocked off again. That's 65 northbound past the Thompson Station Road overpass. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
5:06, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. And good morning to you, friends. I hope you're doing well. I owe Joan Jones such an apology.
Do you?
I feel really bad, and I'm not going to do it here, Joan, but I feel really bad for what I said to you earlier, and we'll talk about that because I know that you were offended. And I do feel really bad for that. And
since I don't get easily offended,
to offend Joan Jones is incredibly difficult. And so we'll talk about the very awkward situation between Joan and I coming up at 5:35 on Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Also today, at some point, I am going to get into this whole Israel wanting to take over Gaza thing. Because I do find it interesting. You were reporting on this, Joan.
Yeah.
And Israel is basically saying, I mean, it's clearly they cannot extricate Hamas. And so now they want to just go in and do what they really do need to do, which is a complete takeover, I guess, of Gaza. And the interesting thing is this. The people of Gaza, people always say, well, you know, the people of Gaza, they don't necessarily support Hamas. Well, then you would think that they would welcome Israel and all of that food that they want to bring in, the food and the water and everything else, because that's what Israel is saying, that we are going to annihilate and decimate and, basically destroy Hamas going in, taking over Gaza. And by the way, we're going to bring a bunch of food and we're going to bring a bunch of water and we're going to make life better. But you have a lot of people that are saying, oh, this is horrible and this is, beyond the pale and all of these other things. So we're going to dig a little bit deeper into this coming up because I do find this a fascinating story. I really do. So we are going to talk about that. We do have some audio from Greg Gutfeld. He was on with Jimmy Fallon last night. So we are going to talk about that coming up at 5:35 as well. Just a very busy Friday. It is the second day that tariffs have been in full effect. We are going to talk about that as well. Earlier this week, Dr. Adrian Battle, you know that I've got a burr at my you-know-what about Dr. Adrian Battle, Metro Schools and head of the school board. And she did earlier this week talk about all of those lawsuits. I can't believe, now, number one, with all that's been going on with the governor's race here in the state of Tennessee, I didn't see that she has finally commented. I don't know if you saw this, Joan, but she has now finally commented on the $6.5 million in lawsuits.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Did you see her statement?
I did.
It is so absolutely ridiculous because she doesn't really say anything other than, hey, let's move forward. I mean, that's basically what she said. Let's move forward. I'm going to go ahead and read the entire statement. This was, and I don't know if there's any audio on this statement or not.
I'll look for it, but I don't think it. I think it's just a written statement.
Yeah, well, it's something she said, but it's in, but somebody transcribed it. So here's what she said. This was in some sort of a school board meeting. Now, if you don't know, Dr. Adrian Battle, she is the one that is in charge of Metro Schools, and there were, count them, 5 different lawsuits. 5. There were 5, right, Joan?
5,
okay,
yes.
There were 5 different lawsuits against the district, $6.5 million that were paid out on these 5 lawsuits. No questions asked. She did not get into any kind of trouble, no consequences, nobody asking any questions. $6.5 million out the door. And it was all targeted at her because she is apparently a beast of a person to work for. We're talking about a wrongful termination. We're talking about people who showed disloyalty to her, so she fired them, all of these things. And $6.5 million later, these were settled, but a lot of this was done behind closed doors. The media, they were not allowed to ask any kind of questions whatsoever, and nobody has anything to say about this within the school board. So this is what she said. I'm going to read this. Sure, I mean, what that particular situation 5 years ago just being settled this school year, the truth of the matter is, she says, we will stand on the decisions that we made. I think what you will see is that the results speak for themselves. And part of that process is for us to get to today. It sounds like she's like Marsha Blackburn talking about January 6th.
I was going to say, it sounds more like we've been unburdened by what has been.
Very good, Sam.
Perfect.
You're absolutely
Yeah.
right. So, I mean, should I just go ahead and pick this apart sentence by sentence? I think I will, because I've got like three more minutes to fill. So, sure, I mean, with that particular situation 5 years ago just being settled this school year, so she's trying to blow this off, that it was 5 years ago. That doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean anything at all. Just because it was 5 years ago doesn't mean that you learned any lessons. Because what it actually means is that, Lord knows, if those lawsuits were 5 years ago and you know, they're just being settled now, what's in the hopper that we're going to be paying for the next 5 years? So that's number one. And she didn't learn anything because she didn't suffer any consequences. The truth of the matter is, we will stand on the decisions that we made. Well, actually, it's the taxpayers that are having to stand on the decisions that you made because you are a beast of a person to work for. I'm going to use the word corrupt, to be honest with you. She also says, I think what you will see is that the results speak for themselves. Yeah, you're still in power, and you shouldn't be. And part of that process is for us to get to today. Today, on the first day of school, we're able to be focused on the 80,000 plus students that we're welcoming back to Metro Nashville Public Schools so that our educators, our principals, our support staff at the district level are all focused on the right things, and that is the kids, continuing moving the needle for all of the students that we serve. What does any of that say? Like, it says absolutely nothing. And those 80,000 plus students that Dr. Adrian Battle is referring to, they've got $6.5 million less dollars to be spent on them and their education because you are corrupt and you are a terror to work for. The settlement, finalized earlier this summer, raised eyebrows not only because of the size, but also due to the lack of public discussion. When Fox 17 News asked Metro Nashville Schools' Zach Young about the case, he replied, I don't talk to Sinclair. Are you kidding me? Sinclair is who owns the television company.
I was going to say, I've got the audio of Johnny Maffei from Fox 17 trying to interview Mayor O'Connell, Dr. Adrian Battle, and I think that you want it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Young, is there anything the board is going to do involving reviews of that high number too?
I don't talk to Sinclair.
What?
Everyone else is here.
Okay.
That's good.
Wow.
Whoa.
So the school board member there not answering our questions. Sinclair, he's referring to Sinclair Broadcasting,
Right.
our parent company. Now, J.C. Bowman.
All right, so
he is the
yeah, is that all right? So
They stood there completely. Freddie O'Connell and Adrian Battle just have this completely
deer in the headlights look.
Oh, not even that. It's like don't pan to us. Don't look at us. Like it's
Who said that? Who said we don't talk to Sinclair?
Young.
Zach Young,
Yeah.
school
Okay.
board member.
Whoa.
So what about all the other TV stations that were there? I wonder if do you think they talked to Cumulus? Do you think they talked to me? Do you think they talked to WTN? We don't talk to WTN. Okay, do you talk to whoever owns WSMV or Channel 5 or whatever? I wonder if they talked to NPR. Well, NPR probably wouldn't actually ask the
It
questions.
wouldn't ask those
yeah,
questions.
You're right.
They'd want to know about the lesson plan.
Oh, sure. Absolutely. Anyway, so Dr. Adrian Battle, I guess is she just going to get away with this?
Yes.
Like Freddie O'Connell isn't going to do a thing.
The
The
only
school board isn't going to do a thing.
The only local interviews, I just looked up, any local interviews. Channel 2 did a story with her about the Antioch High School reopening and how everyone there, is feeling good about everything right now. And
Are people feeling good right now?
Yeah.
Are they?
And
Okay.
essentially, that's all she said. Oh, yeah, they've all been on campus all summer long, and everybody's feeling good. They're a spirited school, those kinds of
Well,
platitudes.
thank you, Joan. Platitudes.
Yeah.
That is exactly what that
Platitudinous.
is. Yeah, it's like don't ask me any questions. Don't ask about this. You know what? I guess my question would be, if they don't talk to Sinclair, well then, if Sinclair asked about, hey, isn't it great that it's the first day of school? You know that they're going to talk about that, right? You know that is something that they do want to talk about, but they, as you pointed out, as we pointed out now, that they simply don't want the scrutiny, and they deserve that scrutiny. So I guess we'll have to see what happens and what future lawsuits await, because if there were 5 different lawsuits worth $6.5 million, and by the way, and we learned some of this. This is not the first time that I've spoken about this. At least 1 or 2 of the lawsuits were people calling out the fact that Adrian Battle's brother, who is a coach, I guess hit one of the parents.
Oh, hit a parent?
Hit a parent. That's from what that's from what I understand. And so people were the people that were terminated were asking, okay, how is it possible that this guy has not been terminated? So they got fired. Unbelievable.
It sure is.
And people wonder, why these school districts are so terrible, why these school districts are so corrupt, and why the scores are so low. It's because you got people like Dr. Adrian Battle in charge, like we do here at Metro Schools. So anyway, it is so stunning how corrupt, and of course they're all Democrats, right? So I don't know why I'm stunned by the corruptocracy of the Democrats. Do you know what I mean?
Corruptocracy. I like that.
Do you like that?
Yeah.
Very good. So
A new Danierism.
Sure, a Danierism. No, I think that's actually a word. Isn't that actually a word or a thing? Corruptocracy. If it's not, put a hashtag on it. Anyway, whatever. So it is 5. Now everybody's Googling this.
I am right now. Yeah, it is actually.
Thank you very much.
Plural of corruptocracy, a state ruled by a corrupt government.
All right, so we could call that Nashville. Could we call that Nashville, or do we just keep that for Metro Schools? Whatever.
Davidson County as a whole.
Yeah.
And do you know what the thing is? It's funny. Chris Hand and I were talking during our podcast taping yesterday, Mostly Peaceful with Dan and Chris, where Nashville is such a great place to visit. I mean, it really is. So you have to be able to separate the corruptocracy of Nashville and the stupidity of people like the mayor, Freddie O'Connell, the Metro Nashville School Board, the city council. You've got to be able to just separate all of that. One of the things, as Chris and I were talking about, and that's going to air Saturday morning at 6 a.m., it'll be posted, is that I think that Nashville succeeds despite the idiocy of these people who are in charge. Would you say that's true?
100%. The music industry, entertainment industries keep the city going despite the attempts by local government to trash it.
Yeah, there you go. So there's a lot that we could talk about, but I'm going to move on. But it is the 8th of August, right? August 8th. And it is the second day, Joan, of all of the tariffs, the full implementation of the tariffs.
And look at, the United States is still standing.
We are still standing.
Yeah.
And I got in a bit of a debate with somebody yesterday about all of this. So I'm going to, I did. And, the frustrating thing is people think that because I'm a Trump supporter, I am just all in on the tariffs. And they clearly have not listened to my monologues on the tariffs. I'm a wait and see kind of guy with these tariffs. But I'm telling you that early indications are that this ultimately will look good. Now, if it will do good for the American economy. Now, if you start cherry picking, little pieces of information, then you can make a case that it's going to be terrible for the economy. But number one, I think we're not going to know how this whole thing is going to play out and how it's going to impact our economy for, years, to be perfectly honest. So there is that aspect to it. But early indications are that we're seeing a lot of positive things happen. But you have the Trump haters, you have the people even on the conservative side, or they claim to be conservative, where they're saying, oh, it's going to destroy the economy. It's going to be, I mean, all this, oh my God. So I'm going to talk about that and a whole lot more. It's going to be a very busy morning on Nashville's Morning News. Coming up, a couple of things. I do have some possible podcast regret going on with what happened yesterday in the podcast that Chris and I recorded, because I did read some of my hate mail, and I'm wondering, and I'm going to get the input of Joan and Sam on whether or not I should pull the plug on it, because I can't do that.
Spicy.
But it got spicy. So we've got a lot going on. It is a Friday. I'm very excited that it is Friday. Coming up, we will have some audio. Greg Gutfeld on with Jimmy Fallon, and we have that. My apology to Joan coming up, because I said something that I probably perhaps shouldn't have said.
I was thinking about calling up Human Resources early, but I think if I did it now, they'd be alarmed because it's only 5:22.
Well, it is 5:22. We'll talk about that forthcoming apology and a whole lot more straight ahead. Joan's got the news at 5:30. Joan.
Hey, just a reminder that on 65 northbound, it's the right lane still blocked off just past Thompson Station Road overpass because of a truck fire that happened last night. So it's still there this morning, and they're also still doing milling and paving in that spot. What a mess on 65 North this morning. And then every mother's nightmare, an autistic boy dropped off by his school bus at the wrong place. It's coming up here at 5:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
527. Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning to you. Dan Mandis here, along with Joan Jones, Sam Rutherford as well. Listen to this. I'm reading some of the things that people are saying on social media about Greg Gutfeld showing up on Jimmy Fallon's show. Greg Gutfeld was on Jimmy Fallon tonight, a pathetic example of desperate groveling to the MAGA media machine, bashing Jimmy Fallon. They were yucking it up about his Fox Nation reality TV show, and Fallon told him this, and he did. Your mom is proud of you. Congratulations on everything you've accomplished. It is amazing. People are blasting Jimmy Fallon.
It is amazing. But is it any could you not have expected this?
Oh, I absolutely expected it. I absolutely expected it.
And I am kind of personally, I watch The Five daily, and my husband loves the Greg Gutfeld show. I am a little disappointed that he decided to it almost. It's just like when the media says if they interview Donald Trump, it legitimizes him. I feel like Greg Gutfeld going on Jimmy Fallon legitimizes Jimmy Fallon.
Really?
Yes. Yes.
To Jimmy's credit, he is, I guess, the most tolerable of the
three.
Yeah.
That's not a compliment.
Well, but he's all. I say that in a way that he's also more entertaining. He's better to his guests than a whole lot of other hosts are.
I'm good. Okay, so I think this is part of a larger conversation.
Yeah.
So I think, you know what I think? I think this is going to be Joan against Dan and Sam. I think
Maybe.
that's, yeah, which is fine. I mean,
For the first time.
I will tell you what I think coming up next. We've got a lot, and I've got a lot of audio to play as well. So we have that, and my apology to Joan, my podcast regret. Whole bunch of stuff coming up next right here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. It is 5:30, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Once again, we have a problem on 65 this morning. The northbound lanes in Thompson Station just past the Thompson Station Road overpass. The right lane is blocked off this morning, and that's because of a truck fire from last night. Now, it's also in that area where there's milling and paving work going on, so it may be causing a big backup this morning. Keep that in mind as you head out the door. The family of a 5-year-old Nashville boy with autism says that he was placed on a school bus by his teacher at Ida B. Wells Elementary School, despite arrangements for his mom to pick him up. The bus dropped the kid off alone in a park near his home. He was later found by a school counselor. Channel 4 spoke to his grandmother, Rosalind Derrick, who, by the way, is not very happy.
When you make that transition, from your care to the school's care, that you have trust that, everything is going to be fine.
Yeah, Metro Nashville Schools says it is reviewing the incident and reinforcing dismissal protocols to prevent that from happening again. On a judge's order, Metro Nashville police padlocked a South Nashville bar that they've declared a public nuisance. Police say they've responded to calls at the 404 Bar and Grill on Elysian Fields Road 123 times over the past 5 years. During the raid yesterday, illegal gambling machines were found, and Channel 4's Alexandria Adams tells us there's more.
Police telling us that they found body armor, which they believe was worn by unlicensed security guards. That business is also accused of selling beer to underage guests. It will be shut down until at least Monday, when a court hearing is scheduled. The bar owners and operators are not allowed on the property.
And Disney has settled a wrongful termination lawsuit that was filed by former Star Wars actress Gina Carano. She was fired from her role in The Mandalorian in 2021 after a social media post that showed a badly beaten Jewish woman from World War II. And in it, Carano compared that woman to the hatred conservatives in the U.S. were experiencing at the time. Now, while not revealing a dollar amount, Carano said in a post on X that the suit was settled in her favor and that the truth, she said, will set you free. That's the latest news, traffic, and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. Okay, so it's just that one spot this morning that is a mess, and it's on 65 in the northbound lanes, just past the Thompson Station Road overpass. There was a truck fire there last night. It was before midnight this truck fire happened, but apparently they're still on the scene this morning. So the right lane is blocked off, 65 north, right at the Thompson Station Road overpass. Major roads otherwise looking fine heading in so far. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.537 Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning to you, friends, and happy Friday. Joan, we may go ahead and deem today Friday.
Oh, really? I mean, I thought every Friday was Friday.
No, not all Fridays are Fridayable. Whatever. Hey, so real quick, Joan.
Yeah.
I do owe you an apology. So.
Yep. You sure do.
Sam, you didn't hear this great exchange between Joan and I? So Joan is walking around with, well, I'm just going to admit, I told Joan today that she had great tomatoes.
So Sam knows that I bring my garden goods.
Thank God you don't grow any melons, Joan.
Yeah. Sam.
So Joan's walking around with a big basket of vegetables, and you said, "Do you want whatever it was?" And I said, "No, but you've got great tomatoes." And I immediately was like, "Oh my Lord!" And I said it.
You did, Dan.
So yeah, it's just another awkward thing that Amanda says, but you do. You've got great tomatoes.
Thank you, Dan.
I am holding them in my hand right now. No, I do. I'm holding 2 actual tomatoes in my hand.
Show them, please, on the camera.
I am.
Okay,
I'm showing them.
All right, good.
There you go. Aren't these great tomatoes? Look, everybody. Joan's tomatoes are awesome.
I bring in spaghetti squash.
Yes.
And green peppers and tomatoes.
I was. You know what's so funny about Joan? So I'm talking to the program director yesterday, and he walks in with a big old squash, and I said, "Well, I see you've been talking to Joan." Anybody who is in the building and carrying a vegetable has had an interaction with Joan Jones.
Even though technically tomatoes are a fruit.
True.
That is true.
Well done.
Okay, good. Fact checked by producer Sam. That's fine. Good. Now, I want to talk about your comments regarding Greg Gutfeld being on Jimmy Fallon. But first, I want to play a piece of audio from the show from last night where Gutfeld is talking about, need some audio, where Gutfeld is talking about how he got started on the late night show on Fox News.
Giant golden retriever. You're like on top of me, and so we're wrestling. Well,
that's not it. Well, so far this is going really well. Here we go. How did you start the show?
Where did you? I want to know your background and where you came from. How you ended up hosting your show, this talk show.
It's a good question. I've been fired a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm telling you at home, you think firing is bad?
Yeah.
It's the best thing in the world. People think, oh my God, I'm fired. What am I going to do? You always end up someplace better. So I got fired from men.
You think Stephen Colbert will end up in a better place?
Yeah, home. It's a better place for me and you.
Absolutely.
Is canceling really being fired?
Well, he's already got some sort of a little gig, Stephen Colbert does. But no, I think Stephen Colbert is more than likely done. So here's more.
Men's Health, where I was the king of abs for the 90s. If you remember 5 Minutes to Flat Abs,
yes.
I wrote that.
Wow.
Yes.
That was you.
Yes, and then 6 Steps to a Firm Belly was my sequel.
Wow.
Which was actually, I just rewrote the first one, which is what they do.
Cornering the market on how to get abs.
I was raising a family of abs. But anyway, so got fired from there. Stuff Magazine was there for a couple years.
Love Stuff Magazine.
Yeah, it was amazing. Got fired from there. Then went to Men's Health. Went to Maxim. Had to leave the country for, no, let's not get into that.
My God.
In the UK, and got fired from that. And so I was just sitting at a bar in Chelsea, and a friend says, there's Fox wants to do a late night show. Are you interested? And I'm like, dude, I'm broke. So I will do anything. So they flew me over, and I started doing this show, Red Eye.
Yeah, Red Eye.
Yeah, and so I got there, and they said, I go, yeah, so we're gonna start rehearsing, and he goes, no, we're starting in 3 days.
Wow.
And we rehearsed in the green room. Everybody was drunk. Everybody was drunk, even the cameraman. And so,
My God.
it airs at 2 a.m.
There you go.
But they felt that it was too edgy for 2 a.m.
What?
So they moved it to 3.
Who's watching TV at 2 a.m.?
We did a focus group for 3 a.m. It's speed dealers and breastfeeders.
Okay.
So that was part of the conversation between Jimmy Fallon and Greg Gutfeld. I think that Gutfeld did the right thing by going on Jimmy Fallon for a couple of different reasons. Number one is he is introducing himself to people who may not have either heard of him, or number two, he is showing that he's the better man. He's the bigger person to go on another person's show. And so I think, he's obviously putting his best foot forward by having fun. And so I think he did the right thing. But Joan, you disagree.
I do. Like I said, I think this legitimizes the Jimmy Fallons, even though you say that he is the least offensive of the leftist overnight, the nighttime show guys, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't want for Jimmy Fallon to glom onto what Greg Gutfeld has going,
So you think this was better for Fallon than it was for Gutfeld?
Yeah, I do.
Interesting. Sam, what do you say?
I gotta beat other way around. I think this was better for Gutfeld. Fallon's more nationally recognized. Just about everyone would know who he is, whereas you're going to get some people maybe in the middle and more to the left. They're going to go, who the hell is Greg Gutfeld? And get to see him be authentic, be himself, and see the kind of humor he brings on his show.
Yeah. So that's where I stand on it, is that, Gutfeld, as I said, introducing himself to a new audience and showing how, he's not the demon that the left more than likely portrays him to be. Because let's face it, if you are somebody who is used to the late night people on the networks, you know that they have nothing but terrible things to say about anybody on Fox News.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so Gutfeld is like, hey, look, I'm not an a-hole.
I really like, there's this notion from the left that people on the right are they've done everything perfectly their whole lives. They were honor students and all this stuff. And just coming out here and admitting all the times he's been fired and humanizing himself in front of millions of people is huge for the culture, especially.
You have been fired, Sam?
Oh, my gosh. Yeah.
Have you?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You want to share? Okay, maybe
well,
I shouldn't.
No. So I definitely, one of the times I worked at a vape store, and one of my big jobs was to inventory all the vape liquids and stuff, and I just hated it.
Yeah.
I just thought it was dumb. Especially considering we gave people stuff like, on the side, and for, like, my boss would be like, hey, if you help me with my car, whatever guy owns the tow truck company, I'll throw you a bottle or whatever. So I didn't do it. And then they came down one day and tried to count
fired
it.
you.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Joan,
I didn't care.
Joan, you ever been
Oh,
fired?
yeah, I've been fired.
What you want to share?
Yeah,
And then I'll share my firing. Some people have already heard the story, but I'll share my firing last.
I was at a station in Philadelphia, and I wanted more money, and so the host that I was working with, we were going to become a team instead of having separate contracts. This is kind of in the weeds, but he went on to get a contract, and they came to me and walked me out the door.
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty rude. But I got under their skin a lot, so.
Oh, well. You do that, Joan.
Well, thank God they did that, because now we have her.
Right, I mean.
But you've got great tomatoes.
Yeah. I'm so proud of that.
And,
You?
all right, so I've been fired. I really been fired. I've been downsized, but I literally got fired. And some people have heard this story before. I haven't told it in a while, but I worked at a chicken place, pizza and chicken place.
Yeah.
And I had the hardest time telling the difference between pieces of chicken, a breast, and a thigh. I couldn't tell the difference.
How's Amy feel about that?
And so they fired me because somebody came in.
How old were you?
I was like 16, 17.
Okay, that explains a lot.
I was about to say, as an adult, if my wife's like, "Are you making this with that kind of a chicken cut or whatever?" And
right.
I don't explain it to her.
Just for the life of me, I couldn't tell the difference. And so
that's interesting.
Some customer came in.
One is square, one is round.
I don't know what I was thinking when I was 16 or 17 years old. So, and of course, the obvious joke is, and I've told the joke many times, so I won't repeat it, but the obvious joke is that's why I didn't do well with the girls in high school, not knowing the difference between a breast and a
Gotcha.
thigh.
Yeah.
But you do have some tomatoes.
I sure do. Anyway, so
They go great with some chicken too.
So yeah, they fired me because of that, and because a customer came in and they wanted, I think it was all, which is the white meat? I don't even know. Breast and a thigh. Breast. The breast is the white meat, right?
Yes.
So guy wanted all breasts, and I put in thighs.
If the FCC is listening, we are talking about chicken.
Yeah, yeah, it was bad. So that's really
But at
the
16,
only time.
I feel like, yeah.
I think that's the only time I did get downsized at the first radio station that I was a program director at. I was there for like a year. And to Greg Gutfeld's point, it was the best thing that ever happened to me.
It always ends up being a better thing.
Getting fired was the best thing that ever happened to me because I left Colorado Springs and I went off to Fort Wayne. That led to Denver. That led to here. That led to, all kinds of other things that have happened for me in the last 11 years or so. And so it was. Gutfeld is right. Getting fired is the absolute best thing that ever happened to me. I was so devastated. And this is the thing. When I lost that first job as a program director, I was devastated. I thought that I was done. My career was over. I'd never program another radio station again. And obviously that, turned out not to be the case. But yeah, so.
I was downsized once too, and that was with the Michael Smerconish.
Yes.
So he was local, and that's when I was with him. And then he wanted to go syndicate a show. So he had to drop me like a hot potato.
Wow.
But,
or hot tomato.
Hot tomato, yeah.
So to your point, Dan, about all the experiences leading you here, you're now in the chicken capital of the world, and you still don't know the difference between a breast and a thigh.
Yeah, have you learned since then?
Yeah, the breast, if it's a good breast, it's bigger than the thigh.
All right, I'm done with you. I'm so done with you.
Is that not a correct answer?
Unfortunately, in today's way of raising chickens, you don't know what kind of hormones are.
Yeah, a good breast is going to be bigger.
Human resources.
And
I have an incident to report.
And a breast, and the bigger the breast, the better it is.
Well, see, I meant like on a hot chicken sandwich, you want a thigh cut. When you're having the strips and the tenders, that's the breast tenders sliced up.
I like the big breasts in chicken. I don't know why why is everybody reacting on the super text? I don't understand what the problem is. Get your mind. Is it my fault that everybody else's minds is in the gutter this morning? I know that it's Friday or Friday.
I think
but there's
you
nothing
led
wrong with
us
saying
there.
there's nothing wrong with a man saying that he likes big breasts.
No.
Of chicken.
Yeah.
Is there?
It's the pause.
Especially if you soak them in buttermilk before you fry them.
Now Joan is going to try to get me on a pause.
Yeah, I am.
Whatever. So I have podcast regret. So Chris and I yesterday, they was suggested, hey, why don't you guys read your hate mail? So I had to go through, last couple of years because I've got some doozies. And I printed them all out and I read them during the taping of our podcast yesterday. And I just let it fly, including the F-bombs. I mean, everything. And I'm just not sure if that was the right thing to do. Because, well, as much as we all learn that getting fired can lead to better things, I don't know if I want to get fired at the age of 57 because the odds are of a 57-year-old man getting another job are slim to none. I mean, that has been a recent report. So I don't know. I read the emails and they were full of curse words, and the guy accused me of, there's several of them, and they accused me of, doing very dastardly things. And I just went ahead and read them.
It's projection. That's what I would say.
Well, I don't know, but
I think you're right.
I don't want to get in trouble. Like, I live my life trying not to get in trouble, which probably is a bad trait for a talk show host, but whatever. So, I don't know. I do have time to pull it.
So you don't... No, this is a podcast. It's not broadcast radio,
Right.
So you on the legal front, you're fine.
Yes.
Okay,
And
So-
Mason's stellar.
yeah, and right. So these are things that make for great podcasting, and you definitely should go forward with this.
He'll paint you in a great light. And if there's words that he's got a great sense of what shouldn't,
He who, Mason?
Yeah.
Oh, Mason is
he'll bleep
producing.
it.
Yeah. He'll
He'll blur your mouth so people can't read your lips.
You know what's so funny? Is that the worst thing that people have said to Chris Hand is happy birthday. Like, what makes me so... I've said this before. I don't know what makes me worthy of such hate mail. I said,
jealous.
I think it was either on the air or off the air, but I said, isn't Matt Murphy far more hateable than me? I mean, isn't he? Let's go to the phones. No, listen. All right, 5:52, Nashville's Morning News. By the way, people on the super text line, a lot of people actually, finally, Sam, you and I may be on the good side of the super texters this morning, saying that they agree with you and I on Gutfeld on Fallon.
Well, the latest one I'm looking at is talking about honey smeared on certain things.
Oh, Josephus. Okay, very good.
And Larry, who said, "You have gone afoul." Dun-dun-dun.
Is that Larry Hunter?
I don't know.
He called Murphy Show and threw me under the bus yesterday.
I heard.
Did you hear what he? Did you hear? I don't. All right. So at some point today, we'll play the audio of Larry calling the Murphy Show yesterday, and basically throwing me under the bus.
Yep.
So because it's actually very funny. So we'll talk about that and a whole lot more. By the way, the super text line is open, 615-737-9986. I got some interesting news yesterday, Joan.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how many people actually stream this particular radio show.
Oh.
It's a lot. Stream, like listen on their phones, not watching on YouTube, not watching on Facebook, but, downloading the WTN app or the iTunes app or the iHeartRadio app, whatever. But, I mean, our streaming numbers are way up. So I will say thank you. And if you are streaming, thank you. You can't listen to the radio. You can't watch on YouTube, or you choose not to watch on YouTube. You want to hear us via the streaming apps. We are everywhere. Take us with you wherever you go.
You can also see it when you stream on your phone.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
You can?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, the website relays the stream.
Okay. Well, whatever. However people watch or listen, it's all good. I've had people say that, and this is probably the old timers, but some people say they don't actually like to watch the radio show because they like the word pictures and all that. They like the mystery of being able to just hear the words.
Theater of the mind.
Thank you, Joan. Theater of the mind. When I said that Joan has great tomatoes, that's what. Because they can't see me, with the tomatoes
in your hands.
In my Jones tomatoes in my hand.
Extremely juicy tomatoes, no less.
Uncomfortable.
Man, we got to move on. You know what? There's such a fine line between creepy and funny, and I managed to jump over that line every morning.
Sam's helping you now. Fantastic.
Just great addition to the show. All right, Joan, what's coming up?
We'll tell you what Metro Nashville Council voted on last night, and it may have you seeing red. Also, we know exactly where the Music City Loop is going to be. Stick around for that and more. It's at 6 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. morning, now 6 o'clock, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. It's back to school in Van Buren and Cheatham counties today. And Highway Patrol says that when it comes to school buses, they're all checked out by THP before any one of them hits the road.
Last year, we inspected over 15,000 buses and conducted more than 1,500 spot checks. We checked brakes, lights, tires, emergency exits, anything that could put a child at risk. I'm asking Tennessee drivers to do their part. That means slowing down in school zones, putting the phone away, and never, under any circumstance, pass a stopped school bus.
Yeah, and a reminder that the fine is thousands if you do. It was a symbolic vote, but last night's Nashville Council, they voted to support a bill that will be introduced in January called the Stop American Gestapo Act. It's sponsored by State Rep Justin Jones, and it bans police officers from wearing face masks while making arrests. Councilman Bob Nash used to be a police commander.
I like the title of the bill. I think he could have been less inflammatory instead of using the Gestapo name. So I probably will be abstaining, but otherwise I understand his intent, and I'm not against that so much.
The council vote does not change any law at the state level. We have learned the route which the Music City Loop is going to take. Channel 4's Marius Payton says the Boring Company's VP was in town yesterday to talk about it.
It will start at a state-owned parking lot right outside the state capitol on Rosa Parks Boulevard. It will reach the roundabout right by the Music City Center. Then it goes to Lafayette Street. Then it will turn into Murfreesboro Pike, which eventually borders the airport. The vice president of the Boring Company was in town to talk to city and state leaders. He also talked about the drivers. All of the Teslas that go through this tunnel will have drivers. None will be driverless. They will go through an interview process and have to pass a training test. Driving through the tunnel, they will also always be connected to the company's operations control center.
And the VP says that the tunnel in Las Vegas has had only one incident of a car stopping in the tunnel, but all of the other cars had also stopped. Another car, he said, scraped the side once, and there has never been anyone who was trapped in the tunnel. Market numbers brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com. Dow futures right now are plus 106. We've got NASDAQ futures gaining 74, and the S&P futures, they're up 19 points. That's the latest news, traffic, and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. Okay, I am still seeing some big delays this morning on 65 northbound side. As you're approaching 840, looks like it's very slow this morning. Now, there is a paving project in that area. There was also a truck fire in that area last night. So if you plan to travel on 65 in the northbound side, you're going to find it pretty slow still this morning. Things on 24 westbound, they start to back up now in the Laverne area all the way into Nashville. No big delays, really, on 65 south and on 24 east. Things are looking pretty good there so far this morning. Same thing for 40 heading into Nashville. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.606 Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning to you and happy Friday. So there is a lot to talk about regarding tariffs and the economy. We are going to get into that. By the way, did you hear what Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said about Donald Trump? It is very funny. I've got that part of the story coming up, but I do appreciate you listening to Nashville's Morning News. And by the way, the super text line is open, 615-737-9986. And we do have the Daily Dan poll. It is up. And Sam, if we could talk about what people are saying about the tariffs, go to YouTube, watch the radio show. And our Daily Dan poll today is about the tariffs. And if I recall, it was basically, do you think the tariffs are going to be good for our economy?
Yeah. Do you think the Trump tariffs will help or hurt the economy, with three options being help, hurt, or not sure? Overwhelmingly, 79% of people in the YouTube chat believe that the tariffs will help the economy.
It's a long-term play. Thank you very much, Sam. It is a long-term play. I got into a debate with a buddy of mine, conservative, over the tariffs and all that Donald Trump is doing. So I wanted to talk about this a little bit. Yesterday, there's this big discussion, right, about Apple moving or expanding operations here to America in Kentucky. Now, this is what needs some audio. This is what Scott Bessent said about that move.
We're seeing these very large commitments, both from governments and from corporates. Tim Cook was in the Oval yesterday. Apple had committed $500 billion of new plants and equipment in the U.S. He's upped it to $600 billion, and he wants to make Apple an American company in terms of manufacturing, not just design. We've seen Micron Technologies. They were in visiting this week. They're going to put in $200 billion. So we've got trillions and trillions of manufacturing that's going to come back, and we're going to see that over the next couple of years.
All right, so he is touting the successes of Donald Trump and his tariff program. And ultimately, as you folks know, and I'm not telling you anything that you don't know, but the president wants to encourage manufacturing here in America. And so that's what the tariffs are designed to do. And so this guy that I was talking to, he was like, well, the iPhone glass, because it was the glass in the iPhones and some of these other Apple products, already made in Kentucky. He's lying. Donald Trump and Scott Bessent, they're lying. It's already made in Kentucky. Well, as we said yesterday, Joan, this is an expansion. What they're doing now is ensuring that all of this glass is being made in America, in Kentucky, because the glass was also being made, Joan, in China, Taiwan, and South Korea. Well, now it's 100%.
And it's in Kentucky, so it's like close by. This is an excellent opportunity for an American company to expand, hire more people, expand their operations. This is such a win-win.
You know, some people, Joan, I think that some people, all they want to do is they want to either demonize or downplay anything that Donald Trump does. And so they'll look for any either lie or obfuscation, or they'll cherry pick little things to say, well, it's not that big of a deal, or he's lying, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And I don't know why they do that. I don't know if it's because there's some people who they have such a hatred for Trump. They have such a hatred for Donald Trump supporters, and they think that they're smarter than the rest of us. When the reality is that, to me, I think the results right now are speaking for themselves. But you can find anything wrong with something. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And so
you can spin it in any way you want.
Yes, anything can be spun, especially when it deals with the numbers and the economy and so forth.
I was going to say, you can, a famous judge once said, you can indict a ham sandwich.
Yes, you can. By the way, you also heard Scott Besson talking about Micron. Now, Micron, they manufacture semiconductor memory production. They announced, of course, here in the last couple of days that they are expanding their production in America because, a lot of these companies, they've got, manufacturing in America, China, South Korea, Taiwan. I mean, you name, they've got operations all over the place. And the point that Donald Trump has been making is that, listen, you make your stuff here, then it's better for your business. It's better for America. You won't have to deal with, the tariffs and so forth. And I realize that there's nuances to all of this. But with Micron, they're going to build 2 leading-edge fabrication plants in Boise, Idaho, and 4 in Clay, New York. They're also upgrading their current facility in Virginia. Now, the nations that are losing the businesses, and this is important, Asia, including China. And that is ultimately one of the things that Donald Trump wants to do is he wants to lessen our reliance on China. That's also incredibly important. So when you hear people trying to downplay what Donald Trump is doing, I do suppose that it's all a matter of perspective, but God, it just pisses me off. I get so tired of it. It just, all the anti-Trump stuff is just getting old. And by the way, contrary to popular perception among some people on the right and all the people on the left, no, we're not a cult. And yes, we can think for ourselves. The U.S. expansion aims to reduce reliance on these foreign facilities for critical memory chips, addressing supply chain vulnerabilities and national security concerns. Absolutely. Again, if it's bad for China, it's good for us. Micron's overseas operations will likely continue, but the new U.S. fabs will shift a significant portion of production, especially for advanced memory, to America. So I don't know what else to tell, the naysayers. It is all a matter of perspective and whatever. If there's some people that are like, he's, blah, 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 he's not doing it right, or he's lying to the American people about these successes, okay, fine. That is your perspective, and you stick with that. By the way, do you know what a semiconductor is? It is I had to look this up, because it is complicated. A semiconductor is part of the nuts and bolts for electronics. It's like processing and all of that. And most of this has been made in China, and Donald Trump wants to be the leader. He wants America to be the leader. He wants Americans to have those jobs, not China. And for the life of me, I don't understand why people don't appreciate what the president is trying to do.
It would also potentially take the pressure off of Taiwan when it comes to the microchip industry and China buying our microchips instead of, threatening Taiwan with invasion over what they have.
Well, and any time that you put, and it's the same with the pharmaceutical industry with India, right? So the more that we rely on other nations, number one, we are putting ourselves at peril, politically, from a supply chain aspect as well. Remember when COVID happened, and a lot of the masks and all these things were made in China, and so the country that caused COVID and essentially released it onto the world, they were also the ones that were manufacturing a lot of this equipment, and there are vulnerabilities in that kind of a situation. By the way, Scott Besson, earlier this week, he also spoke about blue-collar growth.
Blue-collar wage growth, the only other time it's been this high, wait for it, was during President Trump's first term. So
Right.
we've seen real wages for hourly workers, non-supervisory workers, rise almost 2% in the first 5 months.
Why is that?
No president has done that before.
And why is that?
It's the president's emphasis on manufacturing.
Right. A 2025 report notes that blue-collar sectors like manufacturing and construction have seen wage growth outpace the private sector average by nearly double in some cases, driven by high demand for skilled labor and labor shortages. Oh, there's more. There's a lot more. Scott Bessent has been on a roll this week, and I can't wait to share with you what he called Donald Trump. It is all straight ahead. 6:15. Time to check the roads on WTN. All right, very good. As far as your weather for today, and Joan, I'm not sure what the heck is going on over at our news affiliate partner, but they have not sent us the weather. So today's weather is a high of 92, partly cloudy, going to feel like 100, I assume. And those temperatures, and that basically is going to remain consistent all the way through the weekend. At least that is what Sam is telling me. Is that what you have on the weather as well?
That is, but I just got their report, so I'm going to slide that in for the
Do
next
they know that
segment.
we start at 5?
I think so.
Do they know that we start at 5? Joan, don't we happen to know the people over there at WSMV?
We do.
Tell them we start at 5, not 6:16.
I will. I'll send a message.
I need the weather before 6.
Make sure
It came in after 6.
it's strongly worded and in all capital letters, and you have to put it in bold and italics. Do that too.
Should I send them some tomatoes?
No, they don't deserve your tomatoes.
Okay.
They don't deserve to hold your tomatoes, Joan.
They have to get grocery store tomatoes.
I'm so sorry I asked now.
Moving right along. All right, back to the economy and Scott Bessent, which is much less fun to talk about than Joan's tomatoes. By the way, we are actually talking about the fruit. Joan brought in tomatoes today, just for people that didn't hear the 5:30. So here's the thing about economics, and we were just talking about this, is that numbers can always be manipulated. So you heard Scott Bessent talking about the blue-collar wage growth. That is absolutely undeniably up. The U.S. economy has grown at a 3% annualized rate in Q2 of 2025. Tariff revenues of $150 billion in the past 6 months suggest robust economic activity, which may support wage growth by increasing demand for labor. I mean, I'm a knucklehead, and I understand that. So you have a lot of people out there talking about the tariffs and how the prices are going to go up. And just so you know where I have always stood on the tariffs is that this is a long play. This is a long-term play, not a short-term play. So there's a lot of, doom predicting out there, and I do understand that. But at least to me, Donald Trump has had a lot of victories with this money coming in from the tariffs, but prices are going to go up in the short term. And according to Scott Bessent, who was on with Tucker Carlson, he explained all of this.
With the tariff income, it can be substantial. And if we think like a classical model of tariff income would say, if there's a 10% tariff, then the currency would appreciate about 40% of that, so 4% of it. Then the producer in the other country would eat about 4%. And then the U.S. consumer might have a one-time price adjustment of 2%. Okay. So, in a 10% tariff, maybe the consumer pays 2% of it.
All right, so tariffs go up. The prices of goods go up slightly, but the Treasury ends up getting that money, obviously, as well. That's going to help pay off our $27 trillion debt and help fund the government. It could also, as Donald Trump wants to do, replace income taxes. Whether or not that is feasible, to be perfectly honest, is anybody's guess. I'm skeptical of that, but Scott Bessent, he's not, and he does quote an MIT study.
We saw there's a study out recently from a group at MIT that shows that with President Trump's first China tariffs, which were approximately 20%, the price level went up 0.7. So to answer your question, if we could put on a 20% tariff and have the foreigners pay that, and use that money to bring down our government deficit and keep taxes low here. That's a very unique formula that hasn't been tried in this country for a long time.
And that last 3 seconds of that cut hasn't been tried in this country in a long time. So we are $27 trillion. I don't know what the latest is. I don't know if it's gone up to 28. We're like $27 trillion, the national debt. And so why not try something else? It seems to make sense to me. It does. By the way, today is day 2 of the president using this 1977 law to justify utilizing these tariffs. That is winding and winding its way through the appellate courts. It'll ultimately end up in the Supreme Court. Who knows what the Supreme Court is going to say? But Donald Trump using that 1977 law, historically used for sanctioning enemies or freezing their assets, to give him power to impose those tariffs. And the president says that utilizing this 1977 law is what gives him the power. We will, again, ultimately wait and see how the U.S. Supreme Court deals with that. Now, do you want to hear what Scott Bessent called Donald Trump? This is actually very funny. He called him a cyborg. Listen to this.
It's not uncommon with key folks in the White House staff and the cabinet. What's it like working for you?
Well, I can tell you, it's 21/7.
Yeah.
It's 21/7. The president is a cyborg, half man, half machine. And he, not only does he have incredible energy, he has incredible ideas. He's very engaged in first principles. Why do we do this way? Why was this built? And I was in Stockholm it all runs together. I was in Stockholm last week, Monday and Tuesday, negotiating with the Chinese, and he said, well, call me on Monday and tell me how it went. I said, well, we're pretty good, but there's this one problem. And he said, well, why don't you just do this? And that was too obvious.
Right. Yeah.
But I mean, the wheels are always going. He can multitask like crazy. I mean, he's really the ultimate executive, and he's always thinking.
Yeah, and he's always thinking. He's always posting to the social. How many times, Joan, do we get here in the morning and you pull up Truth Social, and yep, he's been posting overnight. He does that all the time. The mind is always going with Donald Trump, as Scott Bessent said, 21/7. And so I don't think he sleeps a whole heck of a lot. Anyway, 623 Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7. Take the Daily Dan poll. Do you think, ultimately, tariffs will help or hurt the economy? Overwhelmingly, people that listen to this radio show say it is going to help. You bunch of lemmings, as some people would say. All right, Joan, what's coming up?
Joan is on the phone right now trying to get some breaking news. So let's just go ahead and go to promo.
Oh, well, what's the breaking news? Do you know?
Super Texture texted in that there is a dead body laying on 231 in Shelbyville.
It's actually Christiana. Somebody else said Christiana. So I'm trying to nail this down, and it's not easy, folks. So
okay, all right. So you do your thing, Joan, and we're going to play the promo and move on. 624 Nashville's Morning News. Dan Mandis here talking about my friends at the Glock store. Listen, today, most guns, they come with optic ready right out of the box. Glock, of course, calls it MOS for Modular Optic System. But what if you bought your Glock before optics were the big thing? Does that mean that you're left out? Does that mean that you need to buy a new Glock? No, of course not. Lenny McGill always has your back when it comes to all things Glock. Out of their 16 CNC machines, 3 of them are dedicated to cutting Glock slides to precisely fit the red or green dot optic of your choice. I've got a red one. By the way, they'll do it in 10 days or less. And because you can just drop it off at the store, sometimes it takes a lot less. Now, unlike the optic-ready Glocks, when they rely on adapter plates to fit a variety of optics, your optic is going to slide lower. It's custom. Be more secure and be more accurate as well. Now, the Glock store, listen to this. They have cut over 20,000 customer slides, and every one of them has been absolutely perfect. Now, they're good that way. And by the way, if you've never shot a Glock with an optic, remember, only $6.99 gets you a 10-round sample pack of ammo, and you can shoot a Glock with either a Holosun or a Vortex optic, the two most popular brands. That is the Glock store, minutes from the airport, worth the drive from anywhere.
Good morning. It's now 6:30, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. We've gotten a lot of information from super texters and a mild confirmation from police this morning that there is an accident on 231 in the southbound lanes. Now, this appears to be 3/4 of a mile past Christiana Elementary School, and it appears that there may be a fatality in that area. Both sides of the roadway are jammed this morning. Now, this is an investigation. It's still ongoing, and Tennessee Highway Patrol is taking over that investigation. Hopefully, we'll have more for you throughout the morning on this. In other news, the state says that it will seek the death penalty for the man accused of killing a family of 4 last week. 28-year-old Austin Drummond arraigned via video yesterday morning, the judge entering a not guilty plea on 4 counts of first-degree murder on Drummond's behalf. He also appointed an attorney to represent him, and he denied him bond. With the victims' families in the courtroom, the judge revealed one by one that the 4 victims had been shot to death. 21-year-old Matthew Wilson's parents spoke afterward.
It's a whole family gone. You know? It's unbelievable. So we're going to be here every chance we get. We're going to be right here for our son because he cannot be here. They love their daughter.
Absolutely.
Meantime, they say that son's baby daughter, her name is Wes Lynn, is in protective custody for now and is doing physically well. Drummond's next hearing is set for August 14th. In rural northeast Pennsylvania, 2 police officers are in stable condition after what's described as an ambush. Here's ABC's Chuck Sievertson.
The shooting death of Lori Wasco on her property in rural Susquehanna County, north of Scranton, set off a 911 call. State troopers arrived.
The troopers made it out of their vehicle, and they were ambushed from a very good distance away.
Pennsylvania State Police Commissioner Colonel Christopher Paris.
Trooper Parashinsky was able to place a tourniquet on Trooper Jenkins, and despite both of their patrol cars being riddled with bullets, a 3rd trooper was able to get in and evacuate them.
Barricaded in a barn, the shooter was shot to death by officers.
And that is the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Thanks, Joan. 6:32, Nashville's Morning News on WTN. Busy Bee, plumbing, heating, and cooling. Back to school time, of course. And that means that Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling is bringing the buzz with huge savings and sweet giveaways. Now, if you've got septic issues, now is the time to get it fixed. Get 15% off any septic work, main drain lines, or whole home repipes. Yes, 15% off. Now, you can upgrade your HVAC system and get entered to win the Healthy Hive giveaway, a $1,500 sponsorship to the local school of your choice. You join the Beehive Club, and you can gift a free membership to a local teacher, coach, or faculty member. You buy one, you gift one. It is just that simple with Busy Bee. Breathe easier with $100 off indoor air quality products. Now, with Busy Bee, the savings just go on and on. Tell them Dan told you to reach out. When you call 615-775-7833, become a member of the Beehive Club. 615-775-7833. Find them online anytime, busybeehvac.com. 6:36, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning to you, friends. Hope you are doing well and happy Friday. There is a lot going on this morning, and I want to talk a little bit. I've done the tariffs. I want to talk a little bit about the fleeing Democrats. I need some audio. The fleeing Democrats, and I will talk about Israel coming up. Benjamin Netanyahu is now saying that he is not going to take over all of Gaza. He only wants to take over Gaza City. And apparently there's a lot of tanks and troops stationed right there strategically. And so we will talk about that. That is big news this morning. A lot of folks are saying, well, that's going to put the hostages at risk. To be honest, the hostages are already at risk. And so I would love if Hamas released the hostages. Clearly, they're not going to. And those people are starving to death. So I think for Benjamin Netanyahu, this really is sort of a last-ditch effort to try to get those hostages back. We'll talk about that in more detail coming up on Nashville's Morning News. The fleeing Democrats. So they really have not found them. They don't really know where they are. But they are talking big while they're running away. Listen to this.
Not only going to punch you back, but we are going to knock you out. We are ready to fight fire with fire. No butter knife to the gunfight. We are ready to bring the fire, bring the heat.
This is not the Democratic Party of your grandfather, right? Which would bring a pencil to a knife fight. Right. We're bringing a knife to a knife fight.
This is an all-out war, and everything is on the table.
So you have, of course, obviously somewhere the Democrats, it was like, here's the talking point. The talking point is bringing don't bring a pencil to a knife fight. We're going to bring a knife to a knife fight, right? That's what they're doing. You got Jasmine Crockett in there. Of course, obviously, the talking point are that the Democrats are going to fight. Well, Texas Governor Greg Abbott, he's really angry, as are a lot of the Republicans there in the state of Texas. Now, if you're not sure what's going on, if you don't listen every day, whatever, you're asking, what in the world, why are Democrats running away from Texas? Very briefly, if you don't know what's going on, the state of Texas wants to redistrict the state mid-cycle, as they say, which ultimately would give the Republicans, they say, 5 more seats in the House of Representatives. That would be obviously huge, and it would give the Republicans a stronger majority. The Democrats in Texas, they didn't like what was happening, and so, as they often do, they fled the state so that the state legislature couldn't vote on it, because I think you need a two-thirds present there in the state legislature to have a quorum. So that's the issue, and that's why the Democrats have fled the state of Texas. And bottom line is, when I say that nobody knows where they are, they actually do. They are in the states of Illinois, Massachusetts, and I think the other one is in Virginia. But Greg Abbott, he was on Fox News.
Here's what we're doing. One is we have arrest warrants out for all of them. If there are some in Texas, which I understand that there may be, the Texas Department of Public Safety is searching for them. We'll find them and we'll arrest them and take them to the Texas Capitol. Those who are out of state think that they are beyond the reach of Texas law enforcement, and that they may or may not be. But for one, when they come back, they're not going to go to their cozy home. They will be arrested and taken to the Capitol.
Again, that is Governor Greg Abbott. And these arrest warrants, they really don't mean much. They're something called a civil arrest warrant, which means that they really won't face any criminal or civil charges. And what they're really just trying to do is to bring them back to Texas. Now, a lot of these folks, again, Illinois, New York, and Massachusetts, flying there, by the way, we were joking about this earlier, these Democrats flying there on private jets, and they're holed up in fancy hotels owned by J.D. Pritzker, the governor of Illinois. Even Stephen Colbert, and I thought this was funny, even Stephen Colbert talked about the absurdity of the redistricting of Illinois, and he had J.D. Pritzker on, and this is what he said.
Take a look at this. Look at 17 here. It does that. Then it comes up here and it sneaks around there and goes all the way up here.
And basically, it's a little bit of a visual, but
like
basically what is going on is you have all of these districts, and they are just ridiculously drawn so that they could take advantage of,
Okay.
where the Democrats are.
That's the nonpartisan group that does this
Absolutely.
for you guys?
That's our independent commission, you know. That is, yeah. I mean, look.
Because all states, to a certain extent, do this, why is what Texas doing particularly egregious in this case?
Well, here, every 10 years we do a census in this country, and right after the census, we redraw districts in every state. But what the Republicans are trying to do, and the Texas Republicans, frankly, at the behest of Donald Trump, are doing it mid-decade. That is extraordinarily rare.
So I made mention as to how these mid-cycle redistricting efforts, they have been done. Republicans and Democrats have both done it. Now, to be fair, Republicans have done it more than Democrats, but the Democrats, to be perfectly honest, they've been more egregious, in my opinion, on gerrymandering overall. You know, you had Stephen Colbert there actually talking about how egregious it looked, just, again, like in Illinois, like Colbert pointed out. So we've talked about all of this. We've also talked about how they could be charged, these Democrats, with bribery under Texas law. This is, again, Governor Abbott.
The FBI is going to search for these derelict Texas House members in whatever state they may be in and help identify for them and maybe work with us to bring them back. Point one. Point two is these Democrats, they have received money and benefits at their request to support them while they are gone. It is a direct violation of the Texas Constitution as well as Texas bribery laws for them to receive a benefit to skip a vote. They could be charged with second-degree felony for committing bribery in the state of Texas.
So, I mean, obviously the Democrats don't care about that. And so they are just holed up in these fancy hotels that J.D. Pritzker owns, as the FBI, as you heard, is now getting involved. So, which is, the governor just stated, it's a felony bribery. So the Democrats, again, they don't care about any of that.
I am standing here with one of my faves right here, honey.
Yes.
Listen, and guess what? Neither one of us are in Texas. You know why?
Because you're chicken? It's Jasmine Crockett, of course.
Because we know that it is time to stand up, rise up, and fight back against these fools that think that we're weak. One thing that they should know, when it comes to a black woman and a Latina,
that's right,
they're about to get a little spice, okay?
Okay. So I was reading about the Texas Constitution. Do you know it actually says that, and this is a quote, certain officials can be removed from office for incompetency, official misconduct, or willful neglect of duty. That is what the Texas Constitution says. So why can't they just remove them from power? Well, apparently that's now what they're looking at doing. I would say that they are guilty, the Democrats are guilty of two of those things. They're guilty of official misconduct or willful neglect of duty. They fled the state. How much more neglectful can you be? And yeah, that is why Greg Abbott has decided to go all the way to the Supreme Court of Texas. And I love this.
I filed a petition in the Texas Supreme Court that begins the removal process of these absconding Democrat members. And the Supreme Court responded immediately last night and told the leading Democrat in this cause, his name is Gene Wu, that he has to respond to my petition by Friday.
That's today.
Where we're going to begin the process of trying to remove these absconding Democrats from office.
That's exactly right. And so I like what Governor Abbott is doing. They should have, as I've said this ad nauseum now, but they should have passed a law in the state of Texas where if you have these Democrats, because as you know, they have this history of fleeing the state, the Democrats do. And so what they should have done, and I'll say it again, and when these Democrats, and they have an official quorum again, what they need to try to do is pass a law that says that any party that flees, like the Democrats are, well then, whatever the quorum is, the quorum is. That is the quorum. Because you can't hold up the entire state of Texas. You should not be allowed to hold up the entire state of Texas because they want to redistrict mid-cycle. You know darn right well the Democrats have been doing this for years and years and years, as have the Republicans. John Cornyn is now taking some action. We'll talk about that straight ahead. It is 6:45. Time to check the roads on WTN. Thank you. 646 on Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. And I feel, hey, I don't know. I hate to do this to Joan, but I know that we have a big problem on 231.
Yeah.
And our great traffic reporter out of Pennsylvania failed to mention it. So can you tell us, Joan, what exactly is going on 231 that our traffic reporter from Pennsylvania didn't mention?
Yeah, well, there's an issue here because this has gone from an investigation at the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office. They've just handed it off to THP. THP doesn't provide information outside of office hours. So it's a mess. But the problem is on 231. It's in the Christiana area near Christiana Middle School. And it looks like both sides of the highway are really slow right now. They're talking about this potentially being a fatality in the roadway. So this is going to take a while to investigate. It is a mess this morning. And if we learn more, people have been texting in. Thank you, people, for the information that you have been able to provide. But it is a mess, especially in the northbound lanes. We're even getting pictures sent to us this morning. 231, both sides, but northbound looks like it's in the worst shape this morning, right near the school.
I just got off the phone with the public information officer, Lieutenant Miller. He says at this time he doesn't have an update, but as soon as he has something, we email the line, they'll be able to call us.
So they've got to do all the investigation and all that. I'm not real familiar with this area, so how big of a delay is this going to be?
It's a 2-lane highway on either side, and from the pictures that Joan and I have looked, you can pull up in the super text line, someone said something about helicopters in the area.
No, that was over another accident.
Okay.
So that's the 840.
Gotcha. So Rutherford County's not having a good morning.
No, not at all.
Wow. Okay. Yep. So we'll keep an eye on that and update you as things progress. And once we can find out more information, we all know, and Joan certainly knows, that when there is a fatality involved like this one, there's all kinds of police investigation. And do we know why the person, how they got in the middle of the street? Is there any?
No.
Okay.
No, that's not. And they probably won't make that available, for a while.
I understand.
Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Joan. I know you've got a lot going on. 648, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. So talking about the fleeing Democrats, and I need some audio. So Hakeem Jeffries has responded to all of this. By the way, John Cornyn out of Texas has now said, I think this was yesterday, that FBI Director Kash Patel has granted his request for the federal government to assist with locating Texas House Democrats who fled the state in protest of GOP-led redistricting efforts. So the FBI, again, now is going to get involved. Hakeem Jeffries, of course, had this response.
John Cornyn is a dead senator walking. And this is another example of a desperate ploy to try to save his own skin, even if it means engaging the FBI in what would be a corrupt abuse of power by the Trump administration. The FBI should be spending its time chasing down violent criminals, terrorists, drug traffickers, and child predators.
Do you know what's so funny about what he just said? Do you know who is doing a lot of those kind of crimes in America today? Joe Biden's illegal aliens. Remember what I said yesterday, that big story out of the Daily Mail, where, I'm sorry if you missed it, but Daily Mail had this exclusive report that all of these bad guys from, I think it was the Middle East, have come into this country, and they had Venezuelan passports, and they have now basically, they're sleeper cells, and now they are Iranians, and now they are basically embedded in our country. And now there is this frantic search within our own government, and I guess it'd be the FBI and so forth. And there's a frantic search for these guys before they strike. So, yeah, Hakeem Jeffries, your president, Joe Biden, Sleepy Joe, Corrupt Joe, let them all in.
Not targeting political adversaries in a democracy here in America.
All right. So that is, of course, Hakeem Jeffries responding to all of this. And you know what is also interesting? And I'm going to talk about this a little bit more coming up. But as the Democrats are sitting here saying, oh, the Republicans, what they're trying to do is they're trying to, steal the vote or rig the election. Do you know who had something to say about that? None other than Stephen Miller, who is going to talk about how the Democrats have been taking advantage of illegal aliens being counted in the census. Details on that straight ahead. It is 6:51 on Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7. WTN, the Super Text line is open. By the way, thank you for, I've been well-danned. I think we're going to call it well-danned on this show, where when I shank something, we could just all call it well-danned. I've been well-danned by the Super Texters. The national debt is not 27, it's $37 trillion. So thank you for that. It is 6:52 on Nashville's Morning News, and Joan Jones has the news at 7. Joan.
Yeah, working to get more information on that accident this morning on 231 involving, it looks like it could be involving a pedestrian. More details on that coming up, and President Trump is making some inroads into the Federal Reserve Board. We'll tell you what he just did. Those stories coming up here at 7 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Hey, it's Dan Mandis for King & Associates Insurance. Listen, going to question you about your roof. I know it's an exciting topic of conversation, but listen, if it was destroyed in a storm, how much of that replacement cost would your insurance company cover? If you don't know, you really do need to ask, because some insurance companies, they refuse to pay full replacement cost. They're going to deduct money for an older roof, and that means that the insurance company is going to depreciate how much they pay for your roof claim. If you've got an older roof, they're going to pay you less, and that could leave you on the hook for thousands of dollars. Now, my friends at King & Associates Insurance, they will pay full replacement cost. So whether you have to replace a 10-year-old roof or a 2-year-old roof, they will pay for it to be replaced, period. It is that kind of focus on customer service that makes King & Associates Insurance one of the best insurance companies around. 615-329-8121. King & Associates Insurance. Tell them Dan Mandis told you to reach out. 615-329-8121. Get your royal review at tkinginsurance.com. Dan Mandis here. Want to tell you about my friends at the Generator Supercenter. You know, the weather in Middle Tennessee, it can get crazy, which is why you do need a backup home standby generator from my friends at the Generator Supercenter, the nation's #1 Generac generator dealer. Get a free quote and get peace of mind when you have one installed. The Generator Supercenter does feature expert installation and, yes, 24-hour monitoring as well. So when the power goes out in your neighborhood, your home, the power is going to be on. Again, they do feature expert installation, 24-hour monitoring as well. They're not going to leave you in the dark, and yes, financing is available. 615-879-1952, 615-879-1952, Generator Supercenter of Nashville.com. .659, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. So we do have also the news story, big issue out in Christiana on 231, right? So remind us, Sam, what that is.
It's breaking. We don't have any further information at this time, but it would appear that there was allegedly a pedestrian fatality on Highway 231 in Christiana. All lanes are shut down on the northbound side. While THP is investigating, they took over for the county sheriff, so we're waiting for an update on the investigating agency.
Traffic is just a mess.
Absolutely.
So, all right, thank you, Sam. And we do have all of the news coming up with Joan Jones here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Also, by the way, coming up, great interview with Holly, the woman that was beat down by a bunch of thugs in Cincinnati. She was on Laura Ingraham last night, and she talked about even more of what happened at that beatdown, including what she heard during the beatdown. So we've got that story for you and a whole lot more straight ahead. It is Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Well, good morning to you. It's 7 o'clock, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Not only do we have that problem on 231 this morning in Christiana, where it's jammed up both sides near Christiana Elementary School, you also have a problem in Thompson Station to deal with on 65 northbound side, just past the Thompson Station Road overpass. The right shoulder is blocked off there. That was a truck fire from last night, still being worked on this morning. The school year started out with a lot of angst for one Nashville family. Their 5-year-old autistic boy, who is nonverbal, was mistakenly loaded onto a school bus and dropped off at a park near his house. His grandmother says he wandered around for about an hour before being discovered.
The bus driver had a conversation with him, but he didn't get a response. But so Zontrell got off the bus and proceeded to walk down the sidewalk. When you didn't see an adult, you should have just called the school or taking them back to the school.
Yeah, but the school isn't saying if the bus driver was in the wrong here. Not just yet. They do say, though, they are reviewing their protocols. President Trump has named a top ally to the Federal Reserve Board.
He did announce that he would be nominating one of his top economic advisors, Stephen Mirren, to temporarily fill a vacancy over at the Fed. He is a Trump loyalist. He's been a vocal supporter of the president's tariffs. And, of course, all of this comes as the president continues to criticize the current chair of the Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell, for not lowering lowering those interest rates.
That's ABC's Rachel Scott. Meantime, during a brief Oval Office appearance at the White House called a major announcement on the economy, President Trump brought senior fellow at the Heritage Foundation, Stephen Moore, to present some new data on jobs that were created. Here's what he said about finding new numbers.
I was telling the president that he did the right thing in calling for a new head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics, because this shows that over the last 2 years of the Biden administration, the BLS overestimated job creation by 1.5 million jobs.
And it comes a week after President Trump fired the BLS's head over what he called wrong jobs numbers. Market Numbers Now brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com.
A weak $25 billion Treasury bond auction yesterday had investors in retreat. The Dow Jones lost 224 points and closed back below 44,000. The S&P was off less than 0.1%. The Nasdaq gained 1/3. The tech-intensive Nasdaq was helped along by the debut of Firefly Aerospace, which soared 34% in its first day on the listing. Earlier this year, Firefly's Blue Ghost lunar lander successfully touched down on the moon. Instagram's new geolocation feature is catching some flack. Meta debuted the tool Wednesday, allowing users to share their last active location with friends. Some posting on Threads worry about being tracked without their permission. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
Stock futures are on the plus side this morning. We've got the Dow futures up 129 points, NASDAQ futures gaining 79, and the S&P futures are plus 22. That's the latest news. We've got your traffic and weather ahead. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. Okay, so here's the deal this morning. The delays on 231 appear to be clearing out now, still in both directions, but it's not quite as bad as it had been this morning. 231 in Christiana is still slow, but not quite as slow. Thompson Station 65 northbound. You still have that truck that was on fire last night just past the Thompson Station Road overpass, and it's still a mess in that area this morning with the right shoulder blocked off. Got a crash in Murfreesboro on 840 southbound past Jefferson Pike, exit 61. That's also causing some big delays. And in Antioch, Bell Road at Cane Ridge Road, that's another accident seen this morning. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
7:07, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. So it looks like we have some good news, Joan, in that 231 there in Christiana. Looks like the traffic is beginning to thin out a little bit.
Yeah.
This is a major highway, and Sam was telling me how major this is and how critical of a highway this is.
Yeah, shout out Nathan on the super text line pointing out it's the only main road in from Shelbyville to Murfreesboro. Everyone that works in Shelbyville and heads north to Murfreesboro and Nashville has to come through that road, and there's 2 school zones on there. So it is totally thrown off the day. It's also the first full day of school in Rutherford County.
Lordy. So, I mean, I don't know what time school starts in Rutherford County. Probably, about like 8 o'clock like everybody else?
Probably.
So
the drop-off begins so much earlier. Yeah.
Yeah, I was driving home yesterday, and the drop-off going into Rikers Old School, Lakeview Middle School, about 2 o'clock. Oh, my goodness gracious. It was just way, way down the road. I mean, I'd forgotten how bad those drop-offs are for school. You know, picking up and dropping off.
Here's the other thing. So many people move into the state of Tennessee not realizing that there's a law that you have to slow down to, 35 through the school zones during certain periods of time.
It's 20.
20?
Well, Joan.
Joan's flying through the school
Joan.
zones.
Yeah, well, there's Joan. So, yeah, I mean, when you don't have that in the state that you came from and you're here during the first time during a school year, man, you're like, what's happening? Why is everybody throwing on their brakes? Well, there's a law, and you need to get caught up on it real fast.
Joan doesn't care about the law. Do you know how I know this, Sam?
How?
Because there's one morning, I think it was last week or the week before, Joan, you know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
I am actually there. I mean, it's infamous. This light, every person who's ever worked a morning show knows that this light in front of the station, when you come off, I don't know what it is, or the overpass on the highway, this light takes forever. And nobody actually stays for the red light, to change to green because it takes so long. So most people just run through the light. Do you do that, Sam? Do you run through the light?
No, as a law-abiding citizen, I turn right and go up and do the loop at the Buddy Killen Circle and come down to visit that way.
So I'm waiting at the light one morning, and Joan comes flying by me to my left and just leaves me in the dust. Non-law-abiding citizen that she is.
Now, listen, in my defense, and this is a good legal defense, you told me never to stop there. You're the one that said to me when I first started working here, that's Carjack Corner, and you don't stop there.
This is not Chicago, Dan.
I don't recall that.
That's not a defense.
Trying to throw me right under the bus or your own tires, Joan?
Yes, because you told me don't stop there.
Okay, well, the one time she listens to me. Anyway, moving right along. Thank you, Joan.
Yeah.
Keep us updated on 231 if you would. And Holly, of course, we all know now the story of Holly, the Cincinnati beatdown victim. Last night she was on with Laura Ingraham. Now, the other day I played you some audio of when Holly was on with Benny Johnson. Well, now, and I love that she's making the rounds. She had a lot of new things to say with Laura Ingraham. So one of the things that Laura asked, woman to woman, seeing all that was going on, why did you jump in to try to save the other guy that was beaten up by this group of thugs?
Well, everyone was standing around recording and egging it on and, cheering to them. And I kept waiting for the police to show up and waiting and terrified. And when I realized the police weren't going to come, I could hear someone, the man that I jumped in front of, literally crying to God, please God, somebody save me, somebody help me. It was the third time he had been knocked down and kicked in his face over and over. Somebody had told me 57 times. They had counted through all the videos. And I knew that if I didn't jump in, if he had fallen down one more time, he would not have made it out alive.
I mean, that is so many horrifying things to talk about with Holly. The beatdown, the crowd, egging all of this on, the comments, of course, by local leaders, which we've all been documenting, more on that in a moment. The media, the national media by and large, refusing to cover this story. But despite all of this, Holly does have a message. And this is why I'm glad that she is making the rounds on the media, in the media, at least the ones that'll have her on. is because she does have a really good message.
I am feeling hopeful. So, even though I'm in excruciating pain, I'm feeling hopeful for the future because I think some good is going to come out of this. I think a lot of people have outpoured their cries and their need for help and justice system that has been failing them and running rampant through the country. So I think now, we're gonna start getting some answers, not just for me, but for everyone else who also has been in a situation like this or a loved one. And we're going to be coming together as a nation, and we're gonna rise up together and get some answers from the justice system of why in every city a lot of crime has just been running rampant like this.
I have a question, and you can hit me up on the super text line. Do you really think we're going to come together as a nation? I don't. Seems to me like this whole thing has been unifying for people that actually want law and order, but you got these knuckle draggers on the left who are out there saying that people like Holly had it coming, as Holly is trying to break up a fight. So for me, when I saw that, it was like, okay, I appreciate the message that she has. I appreciate that she is hopeful that we as a nation will come together. Again, I don't see that it happening. 5 people have been arrested. One of them is posted bond. He is out running around on the streets again, believe it or not. So do you see the streets becoming safe again? I don't. And seeing these people that did this get charged with hate crimes and attempted murder, they should be, but they're not going to be. I don't see that happening. Because we always see these things happen, and generally speaking, they don't receive the jail time that they should. I'm aghast. You're aghast. Holly's aghast. But the people on the left, they can somehow justify these actions.
There were some racist comments. I guess some of the people that we were with were from the country of Russia, and there were a bunch of Russian comments and some people saying that they wanted to beat up the Russians. So I don't even know how they knew where they were from. And then there were some comments about, white people shouldn't be out here, or we're going to go night-night, you white bleep words.
Yeah, you heard that, right? So she is saying there were racist comments made. That is the accusation from Holly. And so I believe that for that is why we should charge these people, these 5, with hate crimes. Got a little bit more on Holly's story. It is coming up. Super Talk 99.7 WTN, 7:15. Time to check the roads on WTN. As far as your weather today, a high of 92. It's going to feel like 100 and partly cloudy skies. It's going to be basically like that all weekend long. Appreciate you listening to Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. So we, and is it going to be Stephen Bucci? So James Carafano is going to be joining us at 7:35 about Israel. And in case you don't know what's going on, I've been sort of talking about this off and on this morning. Israel is out there now saying that they are going to take over Gaza City. Earlier, you had Benjamin Netanyahu saying that they were going to take over all of Gaza, but now it's just Gaza City. The United Nations has now said that Israel must stop, while Israel satellite images show that they've got troops and equipment strategically placed, and they are ready to go. The world, apparently, CNN is describing worldwide and global criticism of Israel. And you do have people saying, well, this is going to elongate the hostage situation. And my response to that is, well, okay, but the hostages aren't being released. And quite frankly, they are slowly starving to death. And we spoke earlier this week about Hamas actually putting out a video that showed a hostage. I think he was an Israeli hostage, and he was literally digging his own grave. And I think that for Hamas to release that clearly shows that they're not interested in releasing these hostages. They're not going to release the hostages. And Israel, quite frankly, they're sick of this. And they want some finality to this. And by the way, Benjamin Netanyahu has come out and he has said that Israel will bring food and they'll bring water as well. And so you got a lot of people out there. Now I'm mixing two topics and I apologize. But you got a lot of people out there that are saying that, Israel is trying to starve the people of Gaza. America is trying to starve the people of Gaza. And that is a bald-faced lie. There's been a lot of food that have been sent to Gaza. And as I have talked about a lot, Hamas will steal the food. And then they sell it on the black market. And then they use that money for terrorism. And so for me, matter of fact, there was that video you gave to me.
Yeah.
Sam, do you have that handy?
I will grab it for the phone call later.
There is a video of a guy who is an Israeli soldier, and it's just all of this food that was Israeli supplied, and it remind me of the story.
So it's in a UN holding compound, and
That's
it's just
right.
pallets of flour. And he's not the only one that shot some video and reported on it. There's been a couple other independent citizen journalists that got in there.
Yep.
And it's rotting in the sun.
Yeah, and it's just being wasted. And part of the problem is that the United Nations and Hamas, and you've got this organization, and they're called the United Nations Relief and Works Agency that works with Hamas. And I know that you've heard me talk about this before, but you get all of this food that the UN gives to this United Nations Relief and Works Agency. Well, they give the food to Hamas. And so the whole thing is just America and Israel, they're the ones getting the blame for the starving people of Gaza, when in reality, it is the fault of Hamas. And so what is Israel? Now, I do understand, and we'll get into this with James Carafano here in a little bit. But the problem is that now, if Israel does want to come in and take over Gaza City, what are they, and this is going to be something I'm going to ask, okay, so what are they going to do with it? Are they going to just try to root out and rescue the rest of these hostages that Hamas has? Or what is their ultimate goal? Is their ultimate goal to permanently occupy Gaza City? So we'll get into all of that here on WTN. Looking forward to that conversation. Very important conversation this morning with the Heritage Foundation and their foreign policy and military expert, one of them, James Carafano. All the latest on what is going on with Israel. Back to the Holly story, because I do find this interesting as well, if you've been sticking with me through all of this. She was on Laura Ingraham last night, and she's talking about how there were some racial comments that were made during the beatdown. If you're just joining us, let me play this audio bite again, where she does say that there were some racial comments that were made.
There were some racist comments. I guess some of the people that we were with were from the country of Russia, and there were a bunch of Russian comments and some people saying that they wanted to beat up the Russians. So I don't even know how they knew where they were from. And then there were some comments about, white people shouldn't be out here, or we're going to go night-night, you white bleep words.
All right, so there's the racist comments accusation. Now, can we charge these 5 with hate crimes?
And there were a lot of people in the attack. Now that some of the people have been arrested, they have rap sheets that go on for days. And especially the man who punched me in the face, he had just got out of jail a few months before.
Yep.
And had felonies on him. And I don't understand why he was running the streets, and a lot of other people should have never even been out of jail to even do this to me or the others.
Yeah, one guy, the one she's talking about, is Montayanez Merriweather. He was indicted just back in July on weapons charges and receiving stolen property just last month. Cops said he never should have been out of jail. The judge criticized by the police union. And we see this kind of thing all the time. So now the FBI is looking into this. I love that Holly, again, is making the rounds. and that she is strong enough to speak out. We need strong voices like Holly's to talk openly and honestly about these things, because what she has to say makes a lot of sense. Local leaders, remember the police chief blamed social media and the media, and that city councilwoman, Victoria Parks, said that Holly and the other guy were just begging for the beatdown. Horrible. And so they go and they ask this councilwoman about this comment that Holly and the other guy, they were just begging for the beatdown. And you know what that city councilwoman said?
I meant it. That's the way I felt, and I'm not going to back down from it.
She's not going to back down. Holly, given how you're feeling, given your injuries, what's your message to Ms. Parks tonight?
I just want to know what kind of leadership you think that this is showing to the rest of the people who are supposed to be serving and protecting. If you are encouraging this kind of behavior, then obviously no change is going to happen for the good. It's going to continue. So for me, I feel like you're part of the problem, not the solution. And I really wish that there were people in a position of power like yours that were part of the solution, not the problem.
So I like what Holly is saying. By the way, if you want to donate to Holly and her medical bills and so forth, I went ahead and posted on my X feed at Dan Manda Show the Give, Send, Go link, and it is 7:24 on Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7. All the latest on what is going on with Israel taking over Gaza City with... Is it James Carafano? It's James Carafano? All right, James Carafano is coming up on WTN. Joan Jones has the news at 7:30. Joan.
Yeah, we have confirmation now of what happened on 231 in Shelbyville this morning, actually the Christiana area. Stick around. We've got the details on that and when we can expect the road to reopen. Also, what police found after padlocking a South Nashville bar that had a history of violence. That's coming up here at 7:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thanks, Joan. Appreciate it. And Dan Mandis here for my friends at Window Nation. Now, this is my window company. You know that this summer your AC is working overtime to keep your house cool and comfortable. Well, your AC shouldn't have to work overtime. Your windows should be doing the job. Replace your old or builder-grade windows with custom-built, high-quality windows from Window Nation. They are also energy efficient. Now, that's what I love about my new windows from Window Nation. And right now, and again, they are energy efficient. This month, they've got a great deal going on from Window Nation. You get 50% off all window styles, and all of them, by the way, again, are energy efficient. Plus, you're going to get zero money down, make zero payments, and pay no interest. For 2 full years, you could pay nothing until 2027. Now, there's so many reasons to like Window Nation. A-plus rating from the Better Business Bureau is one. A-plus rating from yours truly is another. And by the way, they also have, at Window Nation, a 50-point inspection of every window before it leaves the factory. They've installed over 3 million windows across the country. You got to check them out, Window Nation. Energy-efficient windows, and don't forget that great deal. Get 50% off all window styles, zero money down, make zero payments, and pay zero interest for 2 full years. You pay nothing until 2027. 866-90-NATION. Schedule a fast and free estimate with Window Nation. 866-90-NATION, windownation.com. Dan Mandis here, 728. I want to tell you about my friends at not Window Nation. I just did that. Loan Pronto. If you are maxed out on credit cards, if you're struggling with high interest debt, you could pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Yes, indeed. Dan Mandis here. Get cash out right now without touching your low rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, and no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan program at Loan Pronto, it is amazing. Now, one Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. So they paid off their debt, they renovated their kitchen, and they even cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That is a huge turnaround courtesy of my friends at Loan Pronto. They feature instant approvals and low rates and no hard credit pull up front. Your home equity is yours, and so you should use it to put yourself in a better financial position. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy, low monthly payment. Call them. Tell them Dan told you to reach out. 615-499-5780, 615-499-5780. Get debt relief right now with Loan Pronto at loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166-1781 on approved credit, NMLSconsumeraccess.org. Dan Mandis here for Zentex. You know, your bathroom is one of the biggest selling points when it comes to selling your home and getting your home sold. Zentex can help you with a huge upgrade and a special price and offer just for my listeners. You can upgrade that bathtub into a walk-in shower with grab bars and a bench seat from Zentex. Now, this can help make the older folks in your life more comfortable. A bathtub redesign can make your bathroom look spectacular. It's a double win. A little about Zentex, by the way. It is impressive. Family owned and operated for 25 years. And yeah, they were the 2022 winner of the Better Business Bureau Torch Awards for ethics. Your work is going to be done in a day or less. And right now, that great offer for my listeners, you mentioned WTN, you get a free Kohler toilet and get $999 off your bathroom project or enjoy no interest for 2 years. Whatever works best for you. Find them online. Zintex, Zentex.com.
Good morning. It's now 7:30, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Well, here's that update on what happened on 231 in Christiana this morning. A pedestrian has been struck and killed. That is confirmed now in a crash that happened about an hour ago. 231 is right now closed southbound, so this is the outbound lanes at Walnut Grove Road. The inbound side, northbound, that's also very slow, but it is not shut down. However, there are two school zones in that area. The middle and the elementary school are there, so it's very slow. This is an investigation. It's ongoing, and that traffic situation may change without notice. So we're going to keep on top of this as new information comes in this morning. On a judge's order, Metro Nashville police padlocked a South Nashville bar that they had declared a public nuisance. Police said that they have responded to calls at the 404 Bar and Grill on Elysian Fields Road 123 times over the past 5 years. Now, during a raid yesterday, illegal gambling machines were found, and Channel 4's Alexandria Adams tells us there's more.
Police telling us that they found body armor, which they believe was worn by unlicensed security guards. That business is also accused of selling beer to underage guests. It will be shut down until at least Monday, when a court hearing is scheduled. The bar owners and operators are not allowed on the property.
And got a heads up for some road work that'll cause delays over the weekend. Construction crews will begin work to repair a bridge over I-24 at Haywood Lane in Antioch. That's tonight. TDOT will close 3 eastbound lanes on I-24 starting tonight at 8 o'clock, and they'll finish around 5 a.m. on Sunday, part of a larger project to resurface I-24 from Haywood Lane to the Rutherford County line. That is the latest news. We've got your traffic and weather up next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Thank you, Joan. Dan Mandis here. Mark Spain, Real Estate. By the way, all the latest in Israel is coming up in just 2.5 minutes. Mark Spain, Real Estate. Avoid the stress of listing your home on the market and sell your home fast for an all-cash offer with the guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate. You know, I always recommend Mark Spain here in Nashville because I know that they are going to sell your home hassle-free with that strong all-cash offer thanks to their guaranteed offer. I've been talking about this for years. Now, Mark Spain Real Estate, they've been helping homeowners sell their homes for nearly 30 years. They have 72,000 satisfied clients. Mark Spain Real Estate is the #1 most reviewed real estate company in America with over 13,000 5-star reviews. Now, you can trust my friends to sell your home fast and for maximum profit. With the real estate market slowing down, they're going to help you out. If you find your absolute dream home, but you've got to get out of your home that you're in now quickly, Mark Spain Real Estate, they can help you do just that. Their phone number is 855-299-SOLD, 855-299-SOLD. You can also find them online anytime to get a guaranteed offer on your home today at markspain.com. That's markspain.com, and start packing.
Okay, so it's still there in Christiana this morning on Shelbyville Highway, southbound. That's 231 southbound, closed between Richmond's Retreat Boulevard and Walnut Grove Road. They're still investigating that fatal pedestrian crash there this morning. Thompson Station, 65 northbound, just past the Thompson Station Road overpass. That's been a mess all morning long because of a truck fire from overnight that is still on the shoulder this morning, and it's stop and go just before that. Bell Road in Antioch, there's a crash at Cane Ridge Road and another one in Laverne on 24 on the eastbound side before Old Hickory Boulevard South. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.737, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Dan Mandis here. Finally, a Friday, along with Joan Jones and Sam Rutherford producing. James Carafano from the Heritage Foundation, foreign policy expert, is with us. James, always appreciate your guidance on these kinds of matters like Israel. Big news today, and this has been percolating, as you obviously know, James, all week, where Benjamin Netanyahu has been talking about taking over Gaza this morning. Word is he's prepared to take over Gaza City. As a matter of fact, satellite images show troops and equipment, I guess, strategically placed. So give me your first brush thoughts on all this, and then I'll pepper you with questions.
Yeah. So sometimes, reality gets a vote. I mean, there is no other path forward. If you want to try to get the hostages back, if you don't want chaos and malnutrition and the people of Gaza to suffer, and if you want to put the foundation of a long-term sustainable solution in the region, there's no other option, right? I mean, Hamas will not step aside. Hamas is the problem. And so what else is Israel going to do? And what else is the United States going to do but support Israel?
Yeah.
So this is just going to happen.
You know, the part of it, I did make mention of this earlier, is that Hamas is not going to release those hostages. I think it was either earlier this week or last week. But Hamas actually released a video of a guy seriously and obviously malnutritioned, digging his own grave, trolling Israel and the world. And I do wonder if that instance really was the final straw for Benjamin Netanyahu.
So part of the reason why Hamas may just not be letting go is there's not a left of Hamas to actually control Gaza. And, you know, the big light switch here was you took Iran off the table. So Iran is not there to back these guys up, trigger Hezbollah, which, by the way, the Lebanese government just said they're going to demobilize Hezbollah and take their weapons away.
Yes.
The Arab states are clearly see that the power brokers in town are the United States and Israel. China's obviously not going to do anything. Russia is a little busy. So Hamas is decimated. And so the thing is if they make a deal, first of all, who can actually make a deal? And even if they make a deal, they can't control Gaza. They don't have the resource and capability anymore. So they're just like Hitler in the bunker. They're fighting till the end because they just can't think of anything else to do.
One of the things that, I mean, you and I have spoken about this before, but this was something that was put out a couple of days ago. The UN itself admits that 87% of its 2010 food trucks in Gaza between May 19th and July 29th were hijacked by armed groups like, obviously, I would say Hamas.
Right.
That's from the UN's own website. So I don't know why there is this confusion about Israel and America is allowing the people of Gaza to starve. Hamas is hijacking the food.
So for years now, a confluence of actors have built these networks to trigger, in this case, this global intifada. So look, the Chinese like this stuff, the Russians like this stuff, the radical Islamists, whether they're state or non-state actors, like this stuff. Even like George Soros and that network, because it's destabilizing and in the United States, they like this stuff. And so that network just keeps pushing this button. But the problem that they have is both the Israeli and the U.S. governments are absolutely resolute on this. And, you know, as volatile as Netanyahu and Donald Trump have both been political actors, right now they're at their political zenith in terms of their power and authority. So that, you know, somebody said the thing, you know, Hamas thinks it's winning the media war. You know what? In real wars, the media war really doesn't count.
Yeah.
You know, you know, it wasn't the media. Media didn't lose the Vietnam War, and obviously didn't help the Germans in World War II. I mean, so reality on the ground is what's dictating events, and this very sophisticated, expensive, devious, malicious network, which is just pushing this button again. Well, Israel, America, bad. It's just not working.
Let me ask you this. James Carafano joining us from the Heritage Foundation. So let's say that Israel does this and they take over Gaza City. So from an operational standpoint, are we talking about the movement of hundreds of thousands of people to other parts of Gaza?
Yeah, I have absolutely no idea.
Okay.
Urban operations are very, very difficult. Much of this will depend upon what kind of cooperation they get from the people on the ground when they get there, and the capacity of other actors to intervene. So, you know, we've all seen cities destroyed by earthquakes and fires like in Los Angeles. Just rebuilding or not is not the problem. It's the context. So there are external actors that are preventing you from doing this, right? So because essentially the Arab states really are going to intervene, Iran is greatly diminished. The Chinese and Russians don't really have the capacity. We may see actual cooperation from the people on the ground in Gaza, and that may actually make things go better and smoother than they were. Remember, the problem with the occupation of Iraq was, well, one is the country was a basket case, okay, but once Iran figured out that the United States was not going to attack them, then they just were pouring, all the resources and IEDs and bad people and money into Iraq to make the occupation as difficult as possible for the Americans. Well, there's nobody to do that here, I don't think. So, so maybe things will work out.
When you talk,
the future is always unknown. This is
No, you're right. I'm watching the media, and that's one of the things that, speaking of the media, that's one of the things that they are reporting. But if Israel, because we're talking about the food, Israel can bring, personally, if you will, all of that food into Gaza. And so if they bring that food in and the water and everything else, well, then I would assume that the people of Gaza would be more prone to cooperate.
Yeah, you would think so. And the other thing is Israel's doing a genocide in Gaza. Okay, there's no logic train there. If Israel wanted a genocide in Gaza, it would just let things go as they are. Just sit back and watch the people starve to death, and blame somebody else. I mean, obviously, it's not in Israel's interest to see the people of Gaza starve. So I mean, that whole criticism on the face is fatuous. And the other thing is look, how did we get here to be? What got us to October 7th? And it was Hamas. It was Iran's support of Hamas, and it was organizations, international organizations like UNRWA, which is the relief organization run by the UN, which created an infrastructure which built the capacity of the Gazans to have an iron hold on the people of Gaza, for Hamas to have an iron hold on the people of Gaza, and to organize one of the most horrific and unforgivable terrorist acts in modern times. Allowing that infrastructure to rebuild, how is that rational?
Right. James Carafano is joining us. I've got a couple more questions, James. If you can hold on for about 20 seconds, I've got some traffic to do, and then we'll return next to James Carafano on WTN.
There's no traffic.
Yeah, gotta watch it. Still closed on Shelbyville Highway 231 in the southbound lanes between Richmond's Retreat Boulevard and Walnut Grove Road. That the result of an investigation there for an overnight pedestrian accident that was fatal. Also 65 southbound, make that 65 northbound past the Thompson Station Road overpass. Still working on a truck fire that was overnight, and the right shoulder is blocked there. Very slow in that area. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
All right, back to James Carafano real quick, James, because I know you're busy. Real quick, so Israel, let's just say that they take over Gaza City. What do they do when they're there, and how long are we talking about as far as, I don't know if I'd call it an occupation, but whatever. What do they do there when they get in there?
Well, so the number one thing is you want to provide food and shelter and medical support for innocents. That's the first thing. It's called we actually had a word for this when we were doing occupations in World War II. It's called the disease and unrest formula. The first thing to do is make sure people don't die. Mm-hmm. The second is you have to provide a modicum of security so people feel safe. And then the third thing is you have to have a modicum of a governance structure so people can govern themselves and get to their future. So the question is how long does that take? And I'll tell you the big variable here is external actors. If there are not external actors in there trying to prevent this from happening, then it actually can proceed and can proceed fairly quickly. And that's, I think, will be the big question.
One of the things I find interesting about all of this, the United Nations, of course, saying Israel must stop. I don't think Israel's going to listen to the United Nations.
Right.
What happens when... go ahead.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, so once all of that is done, once Israel has done everything that they feel like they need to do, they move out. Do you think that Gaza will ever be able to, really run itself? And will the will the underpinnings of Hamas always be there?
Well, again, the reason why Hamas thrived so well is because of external actors. So if Iran remains off the table as the world's largest sponsor of terrorism, and the other Arab nations are normalizing relationships with Israel and are working together, that creates an environment where this could all work out. I mean, the people of Gaza could recreate a region. It might be a self-governing autonomous region inside Israel. I don't know, but that's a possibility now. Look, people always you have to keep up with what's going on. Two things have really changed in the world. Joe Biden's gone and Iran's off the table. Those make a history possible that 6 months ago was unimaginable. I mean, 6 months ago, if I told you that Iran would be off the table as an actor, that the Abraham Accords would come back online, that Armenia and Azerbaijan would be making peace, that the U.S. would be working with both Turkey and Israel at the same time, you would have looked at me and said, what are you talking about? That's impossible. Well, it's changed. And so we have to adapt to the new reality. And the new reality is that the United States and Israel are the power brokers in the region. And as long as they do things smartly and prudently, our goal is to have a region that is more peaceful, more prosperous, and more stable. And that I think there's a good chance that might happen.
Last question. Lebanon de-arming Hezbollah. How do you think that's going to work out? I mean, how do you de-arm Hezbollah? Do you just have to kill them, or what do you do?
Well, first of all, again, 6 months ago, this was unthinkable.
Right.
No government would make that statement and not believe that the next day Hezbollah would be at your door throwing you out, right, with guns. So Hezbollah, for the fact that the government even made that statement, says what disarray Hezbollah is as a military organization. So we'll see how that goes forward. But we've got all these things going on simultaneously: Syria, Lebanon, Gaza, all at the same time. But these, I'm sorry, these are good problems to have.
Oh, absolutely. I'm gonna ask you a comical question, James Carafano. Do you think Donald Trump should get or could get possibly the Nobel Peace Prize for all this?
Yeah, I don't care. Actually, Trump said the best thing, which I thought was really true. He goes, you know what? He goes, I don't need a Nobel Peace Prize because I'm here for the American people. The American people tell me a good job. That is the best reward any president could have. That is absolutely true. The Nobel Peace Prize is
It's a joke anyway. Yeah. Okay. James, is there anything that I know this was very last minute, literally last second. Is there anything that I have left unasked?
Yeah, it's like, why do you guys have traffic reports? Everybody knows there's no traffic in Nashville. And why do you have weather reports? Because everybody knows there is no muggy, hot weather in Nashville. What are you guys talking about?
Oh, no.
Can you explain that to me?
You're destroying your credibility, James Carafano. Thank you very much. I appreciate the last minute assist.
Next thing he's going to say is there's no news in Nashville either, and then I'm out of a job. So.
Oh, no. Yeah. You know what is so funny, though? Where was I? We were driving through Atlanta a couple of weeks ago, Amy and I, and we were stuck in the worst ever traffic. And it's like, why do people in Nashville always say that our traffic is worse than Atlanta? I don't understand the people that say that. It is
because Atlanta at least has 6-lane highways.
Yeah, that's true.
They do, and they're not moving. None of them were moving at the time that Amy and I were driving through it.
Well, you know what you do in that instance? You pull off at the Varsity and get yourself a chili dog.
Yeah, and then I'm like stinking up the car for the next 2 hours.
It's called entertainment.
Hey, Joan, you ever been trolled by your husband during a radio broadcast?
Well, yes, actually, I have.
So I guess just some behind the scenes stuff that's going on. I'm trying to get Carafano on the phone, and Sam is trying to do it too, and I've got 15 things going on. And then, oh, by the way, do Window Nation now, right?
Yeah.
So I'm starting the commercial, and I'm looking for my copy. And I must have said that Window Nation had energy efficient windows like 3 times as I'm trying to get the copy. So Amy sends me a text and she says, so are Window Nation windows energy efficient? LOL.
You're damn right they are, Amy.
You know what? Very, very efficient.
It's worth highlighting.
Yeah.
dear. Anyway, there you go. So, yeah, now my own wife is well danning me as well as we roll our way through a Friday. 753 615 737 9986 is the number. I really like that interview with James Carafano. Those guys are always a home run.
Yeah.
Off the cuff, with his coffee being stirred and sipped in the background, he just was ready to go.
I wonder if people could hear that. Could people hear that he was stirring and drinking his coffee as we were talking? Did you pick up on that, Joan?
I didn't know.
Listen, I don't care. I appreciate it. Those guys are always great to us. 7:54, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7. Joan has the news coming up at 8. Joan.
Yeah, what Nashville Metro Council voted on last night, you probably aren't going to like this one. Also, a nightmare on the seas. That's coming up here at 8 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Dan Mandis here. Of course, it is moving season, a time filled with hours of packing and unpacking and so much bubble wrap. Well, the first thing you should do when moving into your new home is to make sure that the Wi-Fi is booming with Xfinity. It is super quick and easy to do, and then boom, you'll have the new home hooked up with the ultimate Wi-Fi experience faster than the time it takes to parallel park a moving truck. Then you'll be back online with the most reliable Wi-Fi and the best in-class equipment from Xfinity. So you can just kick back, relax, and stream your favorite movies and TV shows while someone else deals with all of those boxes. Because, with Xfinity, the only thing you'll have to worry about is remembering where you pack the remote. So make the right and easy move with my friends at Xfinity. Learn more at xfinity.com/move. Restrictions apply, not available in all areas. Most reliable Wi-Fi claim based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024. 7:59, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Appreciate you listening. Really appreciate it. Can you make sure that we podcast that discussion that I had with James Carafano?
Absolutely.
Because that was really good and really appreciated, especially because he said all the things that I've been saying all morning long. There's that. I'm sorry. It's coming up on 8 o'clock, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I don't know. I haven't even come close, Joan, to doing all my content. Did you hear what's going on with James Carville and what he was forced to do? Have you heard about that?
This is so sweet.
It is so.
Yeah.
It's like a whole bunch of awesome sauce. And we're going to do that and a whole lot more straight ahead on Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7.
Good morning. Now 8 o'clock, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Well, it is back to school in Rutherford, Van Buren, and Cheatham counties today. And Highway Patrol says that when it comes to school buses, they're all checked out by THP before any one of them hits the road.
Last year, we inspected over 15,000 buses and conducted more than 1,500 spot checks. We checked brakes, lights, tires, emergency exits, anything that could put a child at risk. I'm asking Tennessee drivers to do their part. That means slowing down in school zones, putting the phone away, and never, under any circumstance, pass a stopped school bus.
Now, you may have some problems this morning on 231 Shelbyville Highway. There is an accident from early this morning, from 5:30 this morning. So it was a fatal pedestrian accident. Southbound 231 is still closed off this morning at Walnut Grove Road. And in that area, you've got two schools. So it's very slow, and you may need to find a different way to get around that this morning. It was a symbolic vote, but last night, Nashville Council voted to support a bill that would be introduced in January in the state. It's called the Stop American Gestapo Act. It's sponsored by State Rep Justin Jones, and it bans police officers from wearing face masks while making arrests. Councilman Bob Nash, he used to be a police commander.
I like the title of the bill. I think he could have been less inflammatory instead of using the Gestapo name. So I probably will be abstaining. But otherwise, I understand his intent, and I'm not against that so much.
Yeah, the council vote does not change any law at the state level. Some more clarity now on the Music City Loop. Officials saying that it will start at a state-owned parking lot outside the state capitol on Rosa Parks Boulevard. There'll be a stop at the roundabout near Music City Center, and then it goes on to Lafayette Street and turns under Murfreesboro Pike and to the airport. Channel 4's Marius Payton reports that the Boring Company's vice president answered questions from state leaders yesterday.
The Boring Company is almost done with its tunnel in Las Vegas, so state leaders asked about that one and if they've run into any problems. The vice president talked about a few things. They've had one instance of a car stopping in the tunnel, but all the other ones were stopped when that happened. And some of the cars have scraped their sides on the tight turns, but nothing major. And there's never been traffic in those tunnels.
Now, the project still needs the approval of TDOT. A nightmare on the seas on the Icon of the Seas after that cruise ship's water slide collapsed.
A man left bloody and injured after the acrylic glass broke off water slide on Royal Caribbean's Icon of the Seas, sending water gushing down onto the deck below. The ship, which has 6 water slides, was at sea traveling between the U.S. Virgin Islands and the Bahamas at the time. Passengers heard screaming. Icon of the Seas has only been in service since January of last year. Royal Caribbean saying in a statement the guest is being treated for his injuries. The water slide is closed for the remainder of the sailing, pending an investigation.
ABC's Danny knew that passenger is said to be in stable condition. Market numbers brought to you by Beacon Capital Management online at beaconcm.com. We've got Dow futures plus 73 right now, NASDAQ futures up 40, and the S&P futures are up 14 points. That's the latest news, traffic, and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. Looks like it's still closed on Shelbyville Highway, southbound lanes between Richmond's Retreat Boulevard and Walnut Grove Road. They're still investigating that fatal pedestrian crash from early this morning, and there's a couple of school zones in there, so it's really slow. It's very backed up, and you're going to need to perhaps find another route to get around that this morning. There is still a problem on 65 northbound past the Thompson Station Road overpass. That is a truck fire that occurred before midnight last night. It's on the shoulder. The shoulder's blocked off, but it's still really jammed in that area, too. And in Franklin, 840 westbound before I-65, there's a crash reported, and it's stop and go from Paytonsville Trinity Road, exit 34. Traffic every 10 minutes, every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.807 Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Who is the bigger clown, Joan? Pearson or
give
Jones?
Me a choice.
Pearson or Jones?
Pearson
Which
or
Justin is the
Jones?
bigger clown? Justin Pearson or Justin Jones?
I think Justin Jones really, he just gets my ire. Like when he talks, I want to poke him in the eyes. Does that make sense?
Yeah, he's a provocateur.
Yeah.
Is what he is. He's
Yeah.
a provocateur. So we were talking, Sam and I were talking off the air. You want to repeat, Sam, what you said off the air, on the air about his seat?
I just
listen to this, John.
If he were to lose his seat, which I would be in favor of, I would love to play the soundbite from the end of the Willy Wonka movie where he explains that Charlie gets nothing.
But see, here's the thing, though. I think you said that he's going to lose his seat. I think that's what you said. You predicted that Justin Jones was going to lose his seat.
Suggesting
Justin
he
Jones,
should is not saying it's going to happen.
Justin
Dan.
Jones will never lose his seat. You know why?
Well, Dan.
Because you know what? I'll bet you $100 that Justin Jones will never be voted out of office because the people of that district love that he's a provocateur.
And gets nothing accomplished.
That's exactly right. I mean, there's a reason why Justin Pearson, Justin Jones, some of these other provocateurs out there within the state legislature, who's the other one? What's the other one?
Gloria Johnson?
No, not Gloria Johnson. The one, Afton Bain. Afton, all these people. You know what I mean?
One who doesn't know what a grifter is.
Anyway, so maybe that'll be our next poll. Who is the biggest clown within the state legislature? But anyway, I'm moving on. James Carville has now apologized. So I've got this audio, and I hate to be the one that said I predicted this, but I predicted this. So he was on a podcast somewhere, James Carville, and he took aim without evidence in the midst of all of this Epstein stuff at Melania Trump. Listen.
So I'll turn it back over. I'll just make one point. To me, a key figure in this is Melania. Okay? And I think that's at the bottom of what they don't want to get out because it was all modeling agencies. Remember, Trump had a modeling agency. Then Epstein got into the modeling agency, and Jean-Luc Bernal, the guy in Paris in the modeling agency, that hung himself. 2 out of the 3 people ended up hanging themselves. There is, I really believe this, Jack. There is a deep, dark secret somewhere underneath all this.
So this was several days ago, I don't know, a week or so, whatever. But Jean-Luc Brunel, when all of this happened, I pointed out to you, he was a French modeling agent. He and Epstein were friends. He was deeply involved in Epstein's quest to find girls. He would find them for Epstein, and he would also engage in the activity. There is zero evidence that this dude had anything to do with Melania. She was discovered at a fashion show when she was 16 years old in Slovenia. And so now, apparently, the lawyers have gotten a hold of James Carville, Joan, who has now had to apologize.
Yeah, so this is from his most recent podcast. And before the podcast even begins, he had to issue this apology.
In last week's podcast episode, we spoke with Judd Legum. After the episode, we received a letter from Melania Trump's lawyer. He took issue with our title of one of those YouTube videos from that episode and a couple of comments I made about the First Lady. We took a look at what they complained about, and we took down the video and edited out those comments from the episode. I also take back these statements and apologize.
And then the show begins. So, yeah.
I don't think he means it.
He was reading, obviously.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
Joy Behar like when she has to apologize for the things she says that are dumb.
That is the they're making me do this tone of voice.
Yeah.
Right.
So that apology comes after, who else was it that had to apologize to Melania? Was it Daily Beast or?
Yes, Joan, the Daily Beast.
One of them. Yep. They all have to apologize because they say stupid things, and then they get phone calls from Melania's lawyers.
And you know what? Here's the thing. And this is what I like. The left is going crazy about how they're saying, oh, Donald Trump is trying to take over the media, censoring the media, bullying the media, suing the media.
I know.
Can I ask this question? Why does Donald Trump or Melania Trump have to take what the media's abuse? And certainly Melania Trump. And I understand she's the first lady. I understand all of that. But when you tell out and out lies about the first lady, like they say about Donald Trump, but when they tell out and out lies, then they should be spanked. I love that Melania Trump's lawyers got on to James Carville because, you know what? The guy's full of hot air. And in my opinion, he's irrelevant, but whatever. Apparently not so irrelevant that Melania Trump won't sick the lawyers on him. And so I like that he had to apologize. And I do like that Donald Trump is going after the media because guess what? They don't have to take the abuse. The Trumps don't have to take the abuse that the media serves up.
So the Daily Beast had an article. Journalist Michael Wolff said that Melania Trump was introduced to her husband by her husband, Donald Trump, via a modeling agent connected to Jeffrey Epstein after a challenge from the First Ladies. And so they had to pull it from.
Yeah, that's the guy that Carville was talking about.
Yes.
I think also Trump learned his lesson. We all saw the media circus that happened during his presidency and how many people were manipulated and brainwashed into believing, find people on both sides and to that aspect. And so at this point, it's okay, you're not going to run your mouth and we're going to hold you accountable to both the ethical and legal standard of media coverage.
And you know what? It's one thing. It's one thing to, like what I just did, where I said, who's the bigger, I don't know, clown. Who's the bigger clown? Pearson or Jones, Justin Pearson or Justin Jones, but I am commenting on their behavior, and that's my opinion to comment on their behavior. I'm not making up allegations. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like what they did with, because I don't have the super text line pulled up right now, but I know that somebody out there is saying, well, you do the same thing. You just did it to the Justin Jones and Justin Pearson. No, I am commenting on their known behavior. I'm not making accusations that are false. And there's a big difference between those two. And so when, these guys are saying that Melania was involved in all of this Epstein nonsense, I mean, they deserve to be sued.
Yeah, you're not implicating anything about Jones or Pearson because you're going off of what is publicly seen and able to be viewed.
And by the way, they love every time we talk about them.
No, I'm sure.
That's true because, as I said, among other things, they're provocateurs. And so they like to provoke. They like to troll. They like to do these things. And trust me when I say, I hear from you folks when you say, well, then don't talk about them. Don't talk about them. I totally understand that. But when there's news stories where they're trying to force law enforcement to wear masks and Jones is calling them the Gestapo, I have to comment on that.
Or staging, they won't let me into this event that I knew I needed credentials for, or that I knew was invite only.
The airport theatrics of Justin Jones. So, whatever. It's just the people of Nashville, they will continue to vote him in, continue to vote him in, continue to vote him in, because his district, obviously they love this stuff because they keep, they're showing him love. And I'll tell you what, if he was hearing from his district where they told him to stop, I do believe that perhaps he would second guess himself. But that they're all in. I mean, and I wouldn't surprise me if he tried to run for higher political office, but I don't think that he would win higher political office because I think that most people who, like if he tried to run for the 6th or the 7th or whatever, I don't think he would have a snowball's chance. I just don't.
There'd be too much public debate coverage where he would get absolutely destroyed.
Yeah, because he doesn't, I don't believe that he really even knows the issues. All he knows how to do is call the rest of the state legislature racist and pull these stunts. I think that's ultimately what he does. So I'm honestly, I've already wasted too much airtime on him. It is 8:16, time to check the roads on WTN. As far as your weather goes, it is going to be a high of 92. Partly cloudy today. It's going to feel like 100, and that is basically going to be the weather pattern all weekend long. But from what I'm seeing, Joan, no
rain.
No rain.
Which is not necessarily a good thing. Now we need it.
Speak for yourself.
All right.
I'm going swimming. Who cares about the, the plants and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
Dan soup.
How are you going to get some more tomatoes if I don't have rain on the garden?
You know what? That's what hoses are for, Joan.
Oh.
That's what hoses are for. It's very simple. A couple of things real quick, and I'm not going to get everything that I wanted to get into today. One of the things that is going on, of course, I did cover this earlier, is the fleeing Democrats. I love and I did a whole segment on it, so it's on the podcast. It's on the podcast. So let me play this audio, though, the fleeing Democrats from Texas. They asked none other than Stephen Miller about all of this and his opinion of the fleeing Democrats. I want you to listen to what he had to say.
Illinois, Chicago, New York, Massachusetts. Democrats have gerrymandered the vote beyond recognition to try to maintain their advantage in the House elections. On top of that, let's not forget, Democrats rigged the 2020 census by including illegal aliens. Remember, they sued Donald Trump, they sued the administration, they fought tooth and nail to include illegal aliens in the census. 20 to 30 of House Democrat seats wouldn't exist but for illegal aliens. Texas is taking just a small corrective step against this ocean of fraud, this ocean of abuse by the corrupt Democrat Party, Sean.
Joan, I feel like my computer. I'm lagging.
Is that what's happening?
Yes.
Yeah. I just said to Sam, like, what is he doing over there?
You know what? I'm pausing the video for effect, Joan. What do you think I'm doing? Yeah, I don't know what was going on with that.
Yeah. Well,
good luck,
okay.
Chris, with all your video playing. I'm just kidding.
It'll magically work for Chris for some reason.
Well, the computer likes Chris better. By the way, have you heard what they're doing in New York?
What part of New York? New York City?
New York.
Oh, yeah.
Is apparently opening up a homeless shelter exclusively for transgender people.
Because, that's necessary.
How many transgender homeless people are in New York?
Right.
So apparently it's costing $63 million a year to do this. I'm baffled. How many
the
transgender
taxpayers'
people do they have?
dollars
Yeah,
are
taxpayer
going
dollars.
to that. Yep.
Well, there is a There's an audio clip from Fox News. Let's see if it'll play appropriately.
But you won't believe what they're doing now. Now, you may remember the Big Apple dished out millions to launch safe injection sites for drug addicts. For example, over $700,000 went to vending machines filled with needles and condoms. And the city paid the Pakistani government $220 million to house illegal aliens at the posh Roosevelt Hotel. But now the city is unveiling its latest investment, a homeless shelter called Ace's Place, which they're calling, quote, the country's first ever city-funded shelter dedicated to serving and supporting transgender and gender nonconforming individuals experiencing homelessness. And the price tag for taxpayers? A reported $63 million per year.
I want to know what they're doing in there. Like what? $63 million. So what is that paying for? Because I mean, honest to goodness, I guess I'm asking Sam, see if you can find it. How many transgender homeless people are there in New York that would justify $63 million in costs? It just doesn't make any sense to me. And if I remember right, if I saw the story, part of this is people are screaming about the veterans. You've got all these veterans that are homeless, and what are you doing for them?
It's going to be 150 beds, and it's $63 million.
So you've got beds. I guess this whole, what do we call it, Joan? The homeless industrial complex?
Yes.
So how much of this is really going to the transgender homeless people as opposed to being siphoned right back and funneled right back into the coffers of the Democrat Party so that they can pay for, campaign donations and commercials and all that kind of stuff? Because that stuff does go on.
It'll have a full-time psychiatrist on site as well as clinical staff, social workers. They will have perks, including culinary and GED classes.
Oh, my gosh.
Culinary classes?
Yeah.
And GED classes? Wow.
Yeah.
That's insane.
I'm a little shocked. Rarely does something happen in a city in America where I'm like, okay, this,
Hold on a second. Joan?
Yes.
Can you hear the wheels turning in Sam's brain? He's going to put on a dress and fly to New York.
Oh, Sam, do it.
Listen, if he can get paid more putting on a dress than getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning and coming to do this, I think he will.
Learn how to make pasta.
Exactly right. I think Sam would look good in a dress, don't you?
Yeah, a little above the knees.
Little above the knees action, Low cut, he's got the man boobs going on.
What's coming up in the news, Joan?
Could you do a twirl when they video you? I'd love to see that.
Honey, do a twirl for me, won't you?
Yeah. Okay. Back to the news.
Moving right along.
Yeah. Well, the parents of a murdered Tennessee man speaking out now, Austin Drummond, has been arraigned. We've got some details on that coming up. Also, an ambush on police officers. We've got an update on that as well. It's coming up here at 8:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
824 Nashville's Morning News. Listen, business owners, if you've got flooring in your business that looks terrible and it needs a little love, Specialty Coatings can help you. Now, businesses all across Middle Tennessee have been calling Specialty Coatings for help, and they can help you as well. Because remember what I keep saying. Customer walks into your store and your floors leave a lot to be desired. That is a reflection of your business. Specialty Coatings can help you. They've been doing this for 30 years. Now, you've probably walked on some of their incredible concrete floor coatings. They've done work in all the major sports stadiums, the arenas, the convention centers as well. They've done over 1 million square feet of coatings for businesses across the state of Tennessee. Now, those buildings include manufacturing, warehouses, airplane hangars, retail, and a lot more. Specialty Coatings isn't some fly-by-night company. A couple of guys show up with a bucket and a roller. No, they've got the equipment. They've got the skilled installers. So your job is going to be on time and on budget. No matter how bad your floor looks, Specialty Coatings, they can fix it. And each project is customized to your building, your business, and your needs. So call them, tell them Dan told you to reach out, 615-591-9491. You can email them, sales@specialtycoat.com, and you can check out their handiwork at their website, specialtycoat.com.
Good morning. It's 8:30 now, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. The state says it will seek the death penalty for a man accused of killing an entire family of 4 last week. 28-year-old Austin Drummond arraigned via video yesterday morning, the judge entering a not guilty plea on 4 counts of first-degree murder on Drummond's behalf. He also appointed an attorney to represent him, and Drummond was denied bail. With the victims' families in the courtroom, the judge revealed that one by one, the 4 victims had been shot to death. 21-year-old Matthew Wilson's parents were in the courtroom, and they spoke afterward.
It's a whole family gone. You know? It's unbelievable. So we're going to be here every chance we get. We're going to be right here for our son because he cannot be here. They love their daughter.
Absolutely.
Meantime, they say their son's baby daughter, her name is Weslyn, is in protective custody for now and is doing physically well. Drummond's next hearing is set for August 14th. In rural northeast Pennsylvania, 2 police officers are in stable condition after what's described as an ambush. Here's ABC's Chuck Severson.
The shooting death of Lori Wasco on her property in rural Susquehanna County, north of Scranton, set off a 911 call. State troopers arrived.
The troopers made it out of their vehicle, and they were ambushed from a very good distance away.
Pennsylvania State Police Commissioner Colonel Christopher Paris.
Trooper Parashinsky was able to place a tourniquet on Trooper Jenkins, and despite both of their patrol cars being riddled with bullets, a 3rd trooper was able to get in and evacuate them.
Barricaded in a barn, the shooter was shot to death by officers.
And Money News brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com. Stocks have started out very nicely. The Dow Jones Industrial is up 140 right now. NASDAQ is up 74. We've got the S&P 500 index rising 21 after the opening bell. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Dan Mendes here for my friends at DT McCall's. And I'm sorry, me and Chris are talking about something in here. Will?
It's really my fault.
It is your fault.
All right, let it be his fault. Good.
Absolutely. Want to tell you about my friends at DT McCall's. Listen, a great Tennessee company. They are here for their fellow Tennesseans with great prices, selection, and value. Now, I'm a customer of DT McCall's, and I have been for years. They've been helping people out for 3 generations, and if you need it, they've got it at DT McCall's. Of course, all of that indoor furniture. If you've got a room to fill, go to DT McCall's. Appliances, if it plugs in, they've got it. And they've always got specials going on to save you money. It doesn't have to be a holiday. They've got daily, everyday savings at DT McCall's. Just go to the front page of their website. Specials and great prices on all the best brands of appliances and furniture. They've been doing this for 100 years. They know how to do it right. Focus on customer service. And if you buy it, they'll deliver it for free and haul away the old stuff at DT McCall's. 5 locations all across Middle Tennessee, Carthage, Cookeville, Lebanon, Lafayette, and Franklin. That website, dtmccalls.com. .835 Nashville's Morning News. I want to tell you about my friends at Contours. It is still bathing suit season. And if you still can't fit into your bathing suit or you're not comfortable with how you look in your bathing suit, well, my friends at Contours, they can help you with a belly buster special. Now, the first 10 callers right now get that belly buster special from Contours for just $99. Now, this belly buster special, it is really red light technology. And red light technology, it is really cutting edge. It is incredibly unique. It is also incredibly effective. So call this phone number right now, and you can get in for just $99. 615-236-9960, 615-236-9960. People have been coming from all across Middle Tennessee to check them out. Go to their website and see how this red light technology works and what they can do for you. And right now, first 10 callers get that $99 Belly Buster special. That phone number is 615-236-9960. 615-236-9960. ContoursLLC.com.
Looks like 231 has been reopened now, southbound lanes after an early pedestrian crash that was a fatality in that area this morning. Also, Bellevue, 40, the eastbound lanes past Old Hickory Boulevard West. You've got an exit 99 there. There is a crash and the right shoulder remains blocked off. Still problems on 65 northbound in Thompson Station. There was a truck fire overnight, so it's just past the Thompson Station Road overpass that traffic really slows down. Talbot's Corner, 65 southbound before the I-24 downtown exit. A crash takes out the right shoulder. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. This is where you speak.
I hope. Doggone it.
That time wasn't my fault, just for the record.
No,
Let
it
the
wasn't.
record show.
I'm trying to cue something up.
Yeah.
And
there's a button in here where Dan can then edit the audio on his computer, and it takes the radio station out of all the speakers in here. So Dan looks up and goes, "Can you hear that? Are we back?" I'm like, "Dan, I can't hear anything because you're editing audio."
So apparently my name came up yesterday during Murphy's show.
Oh, yeah.
And our friend Larry, of course, you know Larry.
We love Larry. Larry from Clarksville.
And I guess he tossed me under the bus or something. I don't exactly know what happened. And so that's what I was trying to cue it up to find.
I heard this live.
You heard this live?
You never miss a Murphy show.
Well, I do because I'm sleeping.
Yeah, that's true.
But let's, no offense to Murphy.
I watch Dan. I'll be texting with Dan in the afternoon. I'll go, okay, Z-Quill's kicking in. It's like, dude, it's 2:45.
I know.
And then all of a sudden, the little moon pops up on the text messages, and it's like,
I'm done.
Do not disturb.
I have a little moon on my doorknob in the bedroom.
Oh,
so
do you?
nobody. Yeah, once that moon is out, you don't bother me. So I guess I'm trying to cue this up to the right place.
I'm listening to.
All right. So is that so?
Yep.
Larry's
Start there.
Larry's in the hospital.
Yep. And we've been praying for you, Larry. We hope you recover quickly, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Larry's in the hospital, and I guess what happened is a nurse walked in and recognized yours truly. So let's just, I don't know, I haven't heard this, so.
I'm listening to Nashville's morning news on speaker on my phone.
In the hospital?
Yes, sir.
Oh, wow.
And
It's the best medicine.
The head nurse walks in, bringing me my coffee, and this was like an hour and a half before the cafeteria opened up so I could actually get breakfast, you know.
Uh-huh.
So she brings coffee in, which you know is a gateway to crack cocaine.
100%. Yeah, true. We've established. Yeah.
And she says, "Is that Dan Mandis?" And I honestly didn't know whether to tell the truth or lie.
We've all felt that.
Why would you lie?
We've all felt that.
Well, because she's in charge of my drugs.
I sound better on drugs.
Well, what'd you say?
I said, yes, ma'am, it is. And she says, I love that show, but because of my schedule, I only get to listen maybe once a week. Do you mind if I sit here and listen?
Oh, Lord.
Anecdotally speaking,
I'm
your
like,
number
you
one
brought
with
me
nurses.
coffee. You can sit here all damn day long if you want to. So she says, I love how John keeps his, I won't say that word on air, but I love how John keeps his rear end in check.
I think we all do. I think we all do.
Whatever.
It's true.
That's awesome.
Fact check true.
Well, so I send Dan a message, right, from the hospital room.
Uh-huh.
It happened.
And I told him that, this nurse just came in, and I told him, I said, she just wanted to know if she could sit in. And he says, well, I hope she liked the segment. I said, Dan, she sat through 2 segments.
That's a
but
tough
she
thing
also
to do.
said that she loves how John keeps your, rear end in check.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
His response was, I love John. Me and John have a great relationship.
That's madness.
And I said, once again, you have called her by the wrong name.
Oh, man. Hey, Larry, I got to go. We're way late for the news, but let me tell you something, brother.
I know, brother, but I love y'all.
Love you too, buddy. And I know you're going through some health issues, and we're thinking about you. You're one of my faves, and we're praying for you, buddy.
Yes, sir.
And you nailed Mandis. I mean, I've watched the man write names down of people that he's known for 10 years in the studio. I've watched it happen, and I love him to death.
That has actually happened. So, in fairness to me, I went back and I looked at when Larry messaged me regarding this whole nurse story. Now, in fairness to me, it was Wednesday at 4:38 p.m. after I had taken my ZQL.
Okay.
And I did.
So Larry's texting you, and he sees the moon on the text messages, and he's hitting notify anyway.
Well, it's not a text. It's a Facebook message.
Okay.
And he and I did. I typed Joan, but I said John. I typed out.
I love
fumble
John.
thumbed it.
I love John.
Oh, Dan?
I did say John
We
and I
all
have
love you,
John
Dan.
and I have a good chemistry. By the way, did I tell you?
You've been hanging out with my husband, and I didn't know it.
John and Joan, JJ.
Yeah.
When you guys announced that I was coming on board as the new midday guy, I watched Dan in the studio write down Brian. Do you know that?
I did you really?
You went Brian, Matt, Chris.
Okay, so again, in fairness
he
to
hired
me,
all 3 of us, and I wasn't a new guy at that point. I'd been producing for a little while behind the scenes. And
okay, so in fairness to me, and I think everybody knows this at this point, I'm really scattered. I'm really scattered. Also, there's been a lot of, at that time, there had been a lot of personnel changes. So I wanted to make sure that I didn't screw up a name because you're so used to saying other names.
That's true.
And so I had to write it down. Why do you think I have such copious notes?
You have a lot of notes.
Yeah.
I had to adjust the live spot sheet so that we have a note section now.
Oh, my God. You know what, Sam? Everybody's throwing me under the bus. I don't understand this.
My name
That's
has
true.
3 letters to it, and it took you 2 weeks to get it down.
Whatever, Sean.
It was funny. I did. I told Sam. I said I need a portion of my piece of paper to have an area for notes on the bottom of the piece of paper.
Gotta have it
because all the notes on my computer isn't enough apparently.
No, definitely not.
So anyway, yeah, I am terrible with names. I've worked here 10 years, dude. There's 11 plus years. There's people I don't know their name.
Yeah. I feel the same way.
Like that sales guy with a beard. What the heck is his name? I don't even know. That's Dave. I'm kidding.
Oh.
Anyway,
Chris, I was like,
Chris is like, who?
I was like, which sales guy has a beard?
Hey, did I tell you that Joan and I got up close and personal today?
I heard you talking about handling her tomatoes.
I touched Joan's tomatoes.
It's terrible.
So, Joan, if you
Awful.
It's really awkward. I go to church with Joan.
I know, right?
So, Joan,
Pastor doesn't listen, does he?
I hope not to this segment.
Joan gives me a couple of tomatoes because you always know when somebody has encountered Joan in the hallways because they're carrying some sort of vegetable or fruit. So, like the program director was randomly carrying around a big old squash yesterday, and I'm like, "Oh, you've run into Joan."
Well, I told Joan during one of our first podcasts, one of our co-stars was the spaghetti squash that she had given me.
Yes.
And Dan was very jealous. He's like, Joan gave you a spaghetti squash? And I said, yeah. She didn't give me a spaghetti squash.
I had squash envy.
But I said to him, well, did you ask? And he goes, oh, no, I didn't. I said, yeah, me neither.
You did. So Joan says today, she gave me a couple of tomatoes, and I said something like, yeah, Joan, I really like your tomatoes.
I'm like, all right, Dan, we started off on the wrong foot already this morning.
And
like,
the second
started early.
The second that I said that, I'm like, oh God, I said the wrong thing. Because you never talk about touching a woman's tomatoes.
You don't.
At least she doesn't grow melons.
See, and he said that earlier, and it was also funny then. So anyway, there you go.
What are you going to do with those tomatoes?
I'm going to give them to the lovely Amy. I also, by the way, like her tomatoes and melons. And
okay, good to know. Good to know.
And I can't believe I did that.
Man,
she's gonna kill me.
Yes.
Okay.
I hope she's on a call.
Yes.
You went off the rails earlier talking about chicken and different cuts of that. All right.
Did I?
Yeah, I got a whole
Yeah.
nice quiet bite of you going, I like big breasts.
Where were we?
You were talking about the melons.
Yeah, whatever. Anyway. Hey, I got 2.5 minutes left, and I'm out of here.
What are you doing with the tomatoes? You going to make a salsa?
I'm going to give them to
Amy.
Amy. I'm going to give them to Amy, and she's going to make spaghetti.
All right.
Because she makes good spaghetti, and so I'll have Amy spaghetti and Joan tomatoes. Chris, please tell me you have something for this.
Yeah, I do. A fourth dildo has hit the WNBA.
Of course.
Did you hear the one official that said, listen, this is just not funny, people?
It actually is.
It's the funniest thing. And I'm sorry, this is going to continue.
Yeah.
It's the quickest way to make money in America right now. Do you know that? What you do is you buy an NBA ticket for $6.
Yeah.
A WNBA ticket for $6. Then you bet your life savings on Kalshi that a dildo is going to be thrown at the game.
Yeah.
And then you spend, I don't know how much you spend on those things, but get one that's lime green and
Yes.
bring it to the game. And then you throw it and then you profit.
This one was purple, though.
Yeah. It was purple.
How'd that get in there? Oh, don't cry.
Oh, I actually have the audio.
Oh, do you?
Let it roll,
Yeah.
Joan. Let it roll.
Okay, ready? This is the, by the way, this is the Cheryl Reeve. She's the Lynx head coach.
Okay.
Cheryl Reeve.
For the first,
It's not funny. And it should not be the butt of jokes on any radio shows.
Too late.
Or in print or in any comments.
That makes it funnier.
That does. You know what?
That she mentions radio. I kind of like.
Why'd
that.
she have to use
Yeah.
Yeah, she had to use butt. It's not the butt of the joke. Also, for the record, that's the first time those comments have been heard anywhere.
So let's do this. Is every time, let's pull that audio, Sam. Every time we have a dildo thrown on the court, we're going to play that as the segment intro. Okay? Isn't that funny?
We're going to be playing it a lot.
Good.
When
I think it's funny.
How many games we got left in the WNBA season? That's what we got to figure out. Nobody knows.
You know why nobody knows?
Because nobody watches it.
There you go.
And nobody cares.
Because what we should do is we should figure out how many games are left, and then we should all take a morning show poll on how many PPDs, personal pleasure devices, we'll have.
PPDs?
Yeah, we'll have on the court.
I like it.
There's a lot left.
Really?
Good. Okay.
Yeah.
No, this is perfect.
boy,
So
here
how
we
many are
go.
there? How many are there?
I mean, I pulled up the Google schedule, and it goes all the way to September, and there's at least, I don't know, 3 to 4 games every weekend. Or
we're talking
throughout
about
the week.
hundreds of games.
Possibly. They play 42 games this season, and I think there's like 16 teams, 12
Okay.
teams.
Let's see if we can grok.
There's roughly 10 to 15 games left per team, and there's
How many WNBA games are left in the season? Grok.
So the WNBA has 12 teams, and then ChatGPT is saying 10 to 15 games left per team.
That's not helpful. We have to do math, and we're working radio. We can't do math.
So between 100 and 144 games in total.
So let's land in the middle. Let's say the over-under is let's say 125 games left.
Mm-hmm.
So how many do you think we're going to get on the court between now and the end of the season?
33% of those.
I say that at some point we see multiple personal pleasure devices in one night.
Yeah.
Kind of like the way hockey does a hat trick and everybody throws the hats.
Exactly.
We
Or
might see that.
like how the Preds
Hundreds.
throw the catfish on the ice. Like you might see one in the first period, the second, and the third.
Or like Israel bombs Hamas.
Oh, Dan.
What?
Way to bring down the sentiment, man.
The way you hear WNBA players talking about this, you would think that they're getting bombed.
All right, so we got to then do the math. If there's 125 games left,
roughly,
that's
roughly.
a conservative estimate.
I'm going
it's
500.
definitely a conservative estimate.
Joan, you going 500?
Yeah, because I think it's gaining popularity.
And you only get suspended for a year from a WNBA. Like the punishment is like laughable.
The funny part is the guys going in there to do this, I don't think have ever been to a WNBA game.
How are they getting it in?
There's plenty of ways, Sam. Plenty of ways.
I need to call Paul Winkler, and I need to invest in a PPD production facility.
I actually have Paul on my show today. I'll talk to him about what we need to get that off the ground.
I'm sure that he would absolutely love that. I'm going to go conservative. I'm going to go with 63 PPDs will be dropped between now and September. I'm going 63. Chris?
All right. Are we doing Price is Right rules, or are we doing...
Yeah, you can't go over.
Yeah.
Can't go over. Got to be closest.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll go 40.
Really?
I'll go 40.
You're gonna go low, okay.
Joan?
So how many games? 100?
125.
125-ish.
So I'm going to go 250.
Okay.
Goodness.
I'm telling you guys, I think
Joan has way too much faith in humanity, but okay.
Joan thinks that there's going to be multiple thrown in every game moving forward.
Absolutely, I do. And now you're going to have light up ones. You're going to have different color ones.
God.
We're running way late.
What happens if they don't report on this? If one of these PPDs is thrown on the court, but the media doesn't make a sound, was it thrown on the court?
It was. Sam, real quick.
There's YouTube.
37.
Sam says 37.
Ah, son of a gun.
All right.
He did that on purpose.
I was going to say 45 till you said 40, and then I said, all right,
You know
I
what?
got to go
If
lower.
we knew how to do this, we could actually do like some sort of a bet with the listeners too.
We have whiteboards. Let's make a pool.
There's a whole bunch.
Yeah,
You know how
would we be able to do a
Super
pool?
text.
You know how Glenn Beck does the chalkboard? We should do that, but with PPDs in the WNBA.
There you go. PPD.
It's a conspiracy.
All right, very good. Anything else? Because I think we're running way late, right, Sam?
And we're done.
Mostly
way late,
Peaceful.
but let's-
New episode of Mostly Peaceful drops tomorrow morning, 6 a.m.
Hate mail.
So just so you know, very quickly, I am having podcast regret. I don't know if I should have read what I read.
Why?
Tell him. Chris, just tell him. Shut up.
There's a lot of F-bombs, and I feel very uncomfortable that I exposed the hatred of humanity that is sent my way.
There was a lot of F-bombs.
There's a lot of F-bombs.
In multiple forms.
And also a lot of like really strange, bizarre accusations against yours truly. And I'm just a lovable fuzzball, as we have all
lovable.
decided. So
the letters Dan gets is insane.
Tomorrow morning, 6 a.m., it drops everywhere.
Pretty disturbing.
Everywhere.
It is. Oh, but somebody took a shot at Joan, too.
Yeah.
I know.
Remember that?
Did she give you approval?
She did give me approval.
I
Thank
did.
you, Joan.
So what?
In the middle of the podcast,
moron.
Dan goes, I got to double check with Joan that this is okay. I checked with
did.
Amy, but I forgot to check with Joan.
It's John anyway.
U.S. All right, we got to go. Very quickly, USS, United Structural Systems. I've been telling you for years about USS. They are experts in waterproofing, concrete leveling, and foundation repair. This is a great company. They've helped me several times with my home, and that is why I proudly endorse United Structural Systems. Now, I'm one of 30,000 satisfied customers, and listen to this recent review on Google. Guy says that they were highly professional. The crew was phenomenal from start to finish. They treated his home as if they were working on their own home, and he does give USS 5 stars all the way, like I do. USS, they're not going to charge you for any unnecessary repairs, and they won't pay you a dime until the work is done and you are a satisfied customer. Call them 615-488-7855, USSTN.com. $8:59, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Chris, you and I are just talking about what you got coming up with Paul Winkler.
Yeah, so Donald Trump signed an executive order that you can get real estate, crypto, and more into your 401k. So we're going to have Paul on the show today in the 11 o'clock hour, right at 11:05, to talk about what that actually means.
That's
Can you break it down for us?
Yeah, that is great.
Yes.
And then we also have Monica Page joining us live from the White House North Lawn. That's going to be at 10:05, breaking down everything that happened at the White House this past week.
All right, lots coming up with Chris Hand. It is all straight ahead on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.